Welcome back to the Giant Beastcast. We are here, and it is Thursday, November 19th, November 20th, if you're listening to this on a Friday, the day we all remember the Beastcast used to be on many moons ago. This is episode 287th, is that right? My goodness, they just keep ticking forward. Is that right? I'll go with it. 287th. I'm Vinny Caravella. I'm very happy and pleased to be here doing this podcast today. Another fabulous week, joined by Alex Navarro. I'm going to move my mouse. Alex Navarro.
Hello. Thank
Hi.
you for having me. My internet has been a mess today, so hopefully I don't drop out in the middle of this show. We'll see.
I'm here with, hey, you should do that thing with your hand in front of your camera that focuses it. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
No, I think that's just the lack of information coming out of Alex's
your hand was in
internet.
focus for a second.
Yeah, why are you? He's
my autofocus sometimes is a little weird.
Okay.
He's in the witness protection. His voice is gonna be all like, blah, 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 blah.
Abby Russell is here. Hi, Abby.
Hello.
I'm waiting for my mouse cursor to disappear. If you're watching this live, I'm waiting for it.
What's up, Abby?
What's up?
Nothing. Just hanging out and doing a podcast. What about you guys?
Just corralling some
There it goes.
sheep. Is that?
Oh, okay. Is the little neck scarf too much? Neckerchief?
Oh,
Too
I
much?
didn't say
What
anything.
about the color?
I just want to know if you.
But I'm being
I'm doing
ragged
the
on
thing
for wearing a
the
very good
Flickers
denim
did.
jacket with some furriness and then a little neckerchief.
I like it.
What's the weather near you?
Chilly.
Cold.
Cold? Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it's like proper winter now. It's
Proper winter, the best kind.
Smells
of winter.
like doo-doo.
Smells like dude. What? Why?
I'm just making a joke.
Oh, okay.
'cause
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I like it. I had to turn.
Normally, I like winter, but no. Although I am getting weirdly excited for the holidays. I'm ready for Christmas. Normally, I wouldn't. I don't really care, but I'm like ready to be cozy and watch movies and hang up by a fireplace. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the best part.
Winter's amazing. Bacalar.
Hey,
Have you
how
got-
are you, friends?
I'm doing great. Have you gotten the house winter ready?
Is that a process that I'm unaware of? Because
Did you get your heat going? Oh, you have like the
Yeah.
same air conditioner and heat, right?
nope,
Great.
you get that wrong
Don't you have forced air?
all the time. Nope.
How often are y'all talking about your AC?
Like 4 times a year,
I mean, I guess
yeah.
knowing Vinny.
Yeah.
give or take.
this checks.
Yeah, nothing really changes. I the thing I don't like about I got like baseboard hot water heating.
Oh, right.
The problem is the first time you put it on, you get that weird like heat stench.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
it burns
Or
off.
like something-
burning of the
and
dust.
stuff. Yeah.
That it's the burning of the dust is
Yeah.
what it is. The sacred ceremony, burning of the dust.
And crayons that got rolled under there. Yeah.
Right. And then
And all
as
the
soon
little
as you
bugs.
see the first smoke come up from the thing, you know winter hath arrived.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a beautiful moment in our seasonal changes, isn't it?
So that's a closed
Do
system.
y'all-
Do you have to flush it? You have to flush that out?
I don't fucking know. I barely own this place, man.
Okay.
This place owns me.
Uh-huh.
So
Hey,
you have to
that's
ask
true. Our possessions will eventually all own us. I put the heater on in the doghouse.
Oh, cute!
Yeah,
Does
turn
it
it
look? Does it have like a light up glowy light? My parents have
No.
chickens, and they have a chicken coop, and it like glows like neon red inside.
It
So it looks
says-
like they're having like a
it
rager
says-
in the chicken coop.
Obey.
Wait, so wait, it looked like your chicken coop, like your chickens are running streams in there.
Exactly. Like if
they're
you see the
sitting in,
little
like,
windows, and it's just like
LED
glowing,
lights.
and then you hear them like poning noobs.
They're wearing little headsets in their big chairs.
Yeah.
I have a question. So you have a doghouse.
Yeah.
What is the deal there? I don't think I really fully understood like how Kirby exists not in your house.
When a
but
boy dog and a lady dog love each other very much.
I don't
have
think
to.
their procreation has anything to do with love, but I feel like
You're probably right.
so you have like an HVAC system in this little fucking doghouse. What's the deal?
It's
I
a
don't-
fireplace. It's a full
like a
fireplace.
heat lamp.
Yeah, he puts logs in it, and he just maybe sometimes roasts a little marshmallow in there. No, it's like a little like a space heater, like a plug into the wall space heater thing.
You're trusting a dog with a space heater?
Yeah, he's got a space heater and a hot plate. That's right. He cooks
I
his.
just see you like
What are you
at the
gonna
end of the
bust me
month
to the town?
walking
You're gonna
out-
have the town come in and be like, "Well, you don't have a permit for this kitchenette in this doghouse."
You
How long
walking
do you
out
keep
into
him
the
outside for?
backyard, with, like a receipt, like, damn it, Kirby, I gotta spend 83 cents keeping your stupid doghouse warm.
Kirby, I told you to use the back entrance. We're not supposed to be renting the people in here. And now the town's on my butt. So how long is he outside for? Well, he likes being outside. So in the nicer weather, he'll hang out there. He finds like sunny spots, and we'll lounge at them.
Classic dog.
Yeah, but you, Abby, you have heard the curbster when nobody's home.
Oh,
and It's
yeah.
just me, and he's at the step.
He's a sad. He's a little sad
Why aren't you
dog.
playing with me? Come on, what you playing over there?
Where'd
Why'd
they
you
go?
play-
My mom's
Why'd you pick up
dogs
that
are similar
collectible? Why'd
things.
you go right there? What do you got? Read the screen. Read the screen.
I just want to understand more
Attention,
about
touch
your
me.
like hybrid dog situation.
What's
Like,
it? It's a little house with a space
yeah,
heater.
but like,
Yeah.
he sleeps
I
in
don't know why
your
he was so
house?
confused.
Oh yeah,
Like he didn't have to get a zoning permit for this. Like it's not that
I
complicated.
know, I
assume
could-
it's a thing. He lets the dog out every so often. It's like, hey, hang out for a bit, turn the space heater on, and then
Got
like
it.
nighttime come into the house, right?
Yeah. So like if we're okay, maybe this will make more sense. So when he's inside, when he was younger, he's a little
Yeah.
better now. He'd get super anxious when nobody was there and kind of tear the house up a bit. So when we used to leave, we'd put him outside. But like if it's cold or it might start raining, you don't want a dog outside. in
Yeah,
the
we'd have
rain.
the same problem with my brother.
Yeah, so like so we put him outside when we leave, but now since we don't leave anymore, the doghouse is just there for funsies, and it's now when I stream and he has to be outside or something, we'll put it out. But he likes he sometimes will
So
hang out in there.
he just sees it as like recess, and he's just like
Yeah,
super stoked to be out there. Just like, this is my time to let
he
it
loves
out.
being
That's
out
really
in the
cool.
yard. He
That's
goes
cool as
out there,
hell.
he runs around, poops all over the place, and sprints.
And you got the
Classic dog
fence.
stuff.
We got the fence. We put the fence up just for the curbster to run out. He
Destroys trees.
does all the dog stuff. Digs holes,
ever-
buries crap.
Does he ever come back in with like some undesirables,
like poop?
or just like
For
general
wild animals that he's
outdoor-
befriended.
Yeah, like a mole. Like, here, I bought you this mole.
Like a dead animal?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. No, he does chase squirrels.
that's
but
not
I
a
don't think
dog
it's-
thing,
Yeah,
that's
that's
like a cat thing.
Oh, but no, dude,
like a
that's a
ratter.
dog
Like
thing.
you got like a small dog.
Your dog murdering things.
My dog murdered. I think he murdered a mole, specifically when we used to live with my in-laws. That could have been my father-in-law training him because he's a psychopath, and like maybe that. I want to say those two things are not unrelated, but
yeah,
yeah,
well,
that's.
I think
yeah,
your
everyone's
dog,
got a shattered past.
I think your dog is like a ratter, right? Like your dog is
Yeah,
it's
like
like
bred
small,
for
like,
that
yeah,
shit.
like gets in the holes and wants to get things out of
Yeah,
there.
but he's like at he's like no less than 4 breeds, so he's got a
yeah,
little
so-
bit of
He's got like
everything,
rat
so-
terrier in there.
yeah,
You say rat terrier?
rat terrier.
Yeah, it's a type of dog. My grandma had a
Got
bunch
it.
of them. Rat terriers.
Yeah, perhaps. We never did the doggy DNA thing that
Mm.
so many people like to do.
Well, you don't want to, because then your dog potentially could be linked with a crime.
That's right. Register.
Right. He gets registered, those paw prints are out in the database, and you don't want
Ugh.
people showing up at your door at 3 a.m.
You know,
saying
his
your
cousins
dog
are.
killed someone in Alabama.
Your dog's under
Mm-hmm.
your dog's under arrest for what? Being too damn cute. Let's get this. The crime of being too damn cute. Love you, Marty. Let's get this show's on the road here. Speaking of wild animals, Crash Bandicoot is back as of last month, or more than that. The Crash.
Yeah,
4.
could you send your dog out to kill Crash Bandicoot, please?
drag Crash Bandicoot inside. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, is a game that was released, and I played about 8 hours of it. We recorded a quick look of it up on the site now. You can check that out. I am not very familiar with the Crash series. Did not play a bunch of it when it came out. As people might know, longtime listeners of this Beastcast, I was kind of MIA for a lot of that early PlayStation era. I was in college when that came out, so it was one of those things of like, who's got a PlayStation? Wow. So it didn't have a lot of that stuff. And playing this one a lot of collectibles in the Crash Bandicoot series, as you may know. This game's pretty tough. It makes some allowances if you're struggling with it, some extra checkpoints, a little extra health pip if you need it. But it's pretty tough if you're mainlining it to get through to the end. It's not that bad, aside from some, jumping puzzles. But if you're really trying to collect everything, boy howdy, I want to shake your hand if you have gone and tried to 100% this game, because there's stuff in this game, a lot of it. So It's got little zones. Each zone has a theme, like the worlds, and you play a couple of levels in there. I think it's really well done. I think the levels are creative and interesting. The looks are very interesting. You also get powers in up to 4 powers throughout the worlds that are given to you through masks. You got a power to slow down time. You got a power to spin like a top. You got a power to go upside down, and you got a power to phase stuff in and out of existence within the level. And you also play as other characters in the game. There's like a lot going on in this Crash Bandicoot game, Crash Bandicoot 4.
So you're late to the party with this, right? Like this game's been out.
This game came
Like
out
a
in
few
like
weeks.
October 1st, I think, was the official
okay.
release. Yeah, I think
So longer than that, actually.
Jan was going to look at it, and then Jan got pulled into having to tear down the entire studio and podcast room in California.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. So he didn't get a chance to do it. So then I picked it up a little after I finished my stuff. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen credits yet. I thought I finished the game like twice. Have not seen credits yet. We'll probably keep going until I do. There's a little itch to try and collect some of the stuff, but then I lose that itch after I beat a level, and I'm like, man, I'm never going to get all the stuff on that level. If you are watching the quick look, I will say I made an error in demonstrating one of the mechanics in it, which is they do give you these kind of mercy checkpoints if you're failing a lot. Like, well, okay, we'll add a checkpoint here so we can give you something in between. But the way I showed that off, or the way I thought I was demonstrating it, was with a time attack thing, which actually takes the checkpoints away, and then you get them back when you're done with the time attack. It'll make sense if you watch it. Just understand it was an error on my part, but you'll be okay. Everybody's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Backler, you're gonna be okay. Any interest in the Crash series here from anybody?
No,
the most
really.
Crash I've played, I think, was in Uncharted 4.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. You do.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of
I have played Crash games, but I have no particular fondness or memories of them.
It's like kind of a platformery type thing. I'm not generally into those.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly familiar with the first world of Crash 1.
Okay.
Like that, that temple-y kind of location. Sure. And then after that, gets a little foggy.
Yeah.
I played a lot of the, or I tried to play a lot of the remake with all 3 of them in there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just, something in my body was saying, you don't need this right now. So don't do it. And I didn't.
It's a particular thing. I think this is well done, though. If folks have interest in Crash, I think this will meet their needs. But I can't say for sure because I don't necessarily have a history with Crash. So somebody could be like, "This is the worst Crash Bandicoot ever. They changed everything." But I think it's a pretty solid game and a lot packed into it. Fuser. Played a lot of Fuser. Spent money on Fuser in a way I didn't expect to spend money in a way on Fuser. Fuser is a game by Harmonix, which are still going strong.
They're going.
Okay.
They are continuing to go. I think the strength has diminished maybe somewhat, but obviously they are still in a state where they can put out new games.
Yeah. Okay, so Harmonix put out a game called Drop Mix. Is that the name of the game? Drop Mix, which was kind of a physical card game.
I remember that. Yeah. It would be like we would go to like PAX and there'd always be lines because it's like we got like an exclusive Drop Mix card
where you're kind of mixing songs together or stems from songs or bass lines, vocals, and that kind of thing.
Like a remix, a mashup.
Yeah,
game.
and so this Fuser is all digital, and it is that kind of same concept where you are a virtual DJ, a mix master, and you have your crates of songs that are broken up usually into 4 parts. Generically speaking, let's just say it is the drum section, it is a bass line, it is a rhythm section, and then the vocals. Sometimes that changes depending on the song, but that's generally for all intents and purposes, the easiest way to describe it. And then you are putting those one at a time or multiple at a time onto 4 turntables to play them all at the same time. The magic happens because the game is doing all the beat matching for you and matches all the key for the vocals for you. So it'll pitch everything to match the key and it'll beat match everything you drop in there. So you don't have to do any of that work independently. So you're just dropping stuff on the turntables. The game part comes in from trying to match requests, which will be like have 2 R&B bass lines or spin up 2 country vocals at the same time, and you're trying to hit those requests with a ticking timer. And you're also trying to sometimes match, if you want to, crowd requests. Where it's like, I really want to hear something from the 2000s, and you go through your crate, and you're like, it'll say like, what year it is, and you go through and play something from there. So you're trying to hit those requests in the campaign mode to progress, and as you progress in the campaign, it teaches you more and more tricks of the trade, let's say, for this stuff, or you'll be able to mute certain songs or tracks as you're going, and you kind of learn how to do that during the campaign. You'll be able to change the tempo. You'll be able to add effects later on. So you kind of are introduced to that over time through the campaign. Or there's freestyle mode where you can kind of just pick your crates, which off the top of my head, I want to say somewhere between a full crate can be 20-ish songs, and you kind of jump in and just and just start slapping down beats for as long as you want.
You did some Fuser DJing for me, and I was impressed.
It's an impressive looking thing. Like I showed my wife because I was like, hey, this is check this out. And she's like, oh, that's really clever how they're doing it. Like it's kind of hard to sound bad, like because everything's
for sure.
A lot of the work is done for you.
I kind of don't want to hear about it from you. I want to hear about this from like Neil Cicerega or something like that.
Yes, the Mashup Kings.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it from you because you're just some schmuck in a basement. I want to hear about,
thank you.
Put this in front of Girl Talk and see what we get.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. Here, Neil's right here. Let me get Neil. You're always hanging out in my basement, flushing my water heater. So why don't you come over here and
there he is.
Tell the people what he says. Hey now.
Is that the best you can do?
I don't know. I'm an all-star. So that's I nailed it in one. So I have done some DJing in a roller rink 20 years ago. It's exactly
slightly different experience.
Totally different. The game is a lot of fun. Jan and I did a quick look. My biggest complaint right now, one mild complaint and one hey, you guys got to fix this one. The mild complaint is it does get a bit overwhelming. I've been playing on the PC. I need to see if I can actually map peripherals because you're doing so much at one point that you're like, oh boy, I just need more buttons and I need to map more stuff around because I can't do what I want to do fast enough. So that's a mild complaint, and maybe that is just in the design of the game because you can play on your PlayStation and kind of use a controller, or you can play on the PC and use a controller if you want to make this work. The one I would like them to fix is in the co-op freestyle, where you can play with I think up to 4 people trading back and forth to do mixes. Your session feels too short. So when I did it with Jan, like Abby, if you and I were doing it together, I would go what feels like for like a minute or two, or it goes by very quickly. Then you would go, and then it kind of ends for a bit, and we go back to a menu, and then we have the option to continue and do it again. Like I just want it to be like unlimited, where we're just going back and forth.
That's a weird way to do it.
It is a weird way to do it. I'm not sure if that's a technical reason by design, if they're giving you the option to like bounce out if you're playing with people that you don't like or something. I don't know. I feel like in a private session, you should be able to just indefinitely go back and forth, and maybe that's in there and we missed it, but that we did not find that option because right as I'm getting into my mix, it's over, and it's like, man, it's too short. Yes.
I have one mild thing and also a complaint that I would like to throw out there as well, because I've been playing a decent amount of this. It's a wonderful tool set. I think that some of the campaign complaints I think have maybe been a little bit unfair. Like, it's not a super in-depth campaign. It doesn't have a whole lot going on, but it is a really good tutorial for all the things that the game will throw at you.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine in that regard. That said, the amount of music is good, and there are at least a half dozen songs in there they need to get into Rock Band pronto. Fucking Jolene, for God's sakes, get that shit in there. But I found myself already feeling like I've already kind of hit the ceiling as far as like the variety goes. Like, obviously there's some songs I haven't unlocked yet either because I don't have the money or I'm not high level enough. But I feel like the DLC pipeline for that thing needs to open up like fast, because I think people are going to want to start buying songs for that thing real quick. The other thing is it needs to stop crashing because the PC
Oh.
version for me has been crashing somewhat regularly.
No kidding, really.
Oftentimes, like in the middle of a set, like it'll hang for a second, then crash to desktop. So I'm not sure what's up with that.
I haven't crashed yet, but that's terrible to hear. I'm sorry to hear that. You're playing from the Epic Game Store?
I'm playing from Steam.
Oh, you're playing from Steam. Okay. I've been playing on the Epic Game Store. I assume they're very similar versions, if not identical.
They've got to be.
But it has not crashed for me yet on my PC. So that's a shame to hear because, boy, that'll take the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, it's not constant, but it's just often enough that like it seems like an ongoing problem. I also haven't seen a lot of other people report that, so maybe I have some unique flavor of PC that the game does not like. Hard to say. But yeah, it's weird. The
only problem I had was with connecting to Jan for a whole day. We could not get into a session together. It is cross-play for the multiplayer, so he was playing on PS4 and I was playing on PC, and he couldn't get it. The game is also on Switch, which I haven't seen any version of that playing yet, and I'm curious how that.
Oh, I haven't either. Yeah,
handles.
That's cool.
Unless I'm wrong and it hasn't come out yet, I'm pretty sure it was announced for Switch. So. I agree with you about the DLC pipeline. And it's what, for better or worse, got me to just dump the money in to buy the like starter pack DLC that gets you, a bunch more songs just out of the gate unlocked. And now I think I have all the DLC because I think that pack gets you a bunch of it, if not all of it, just right out of the gate.
I think it gives you everything that is currently in the DLC store as one pack. It's like a 20-something song pack.
And so the thing that I will say as well that helped me a little bit was in the tutorials, and we talked about this on the quick look, in the campaign / tutorial, because you're right, it is a tutorial really. I was picking like my crate, you pick what song, albums you want to create, and eventually I just started doing randomize and shuffle to try to get me out of the same 10 songs I would always pick. So that helped me break up the monotony a little bit of hitting shuffle, because I normally wouldn't pick a song I'd never heard of, but being able to put stuff in there randomly, which also adds to great mixes when you're like, I don't know what this song is. Let's drop in the bass line. And you're like, oh, that is a crime. That is a music crime and terrible. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I think I streamed a bunch of it last night, and after a pretty long freestyle set, like I felt very sated. I didn't. It scratched that itch of playing for a while. And I think that is one of the things DLC would help with, or a subscription service to it, which would be nice. Like hey, you subscribe or season pass, and we'll give you 2 songs, whatever it is, in whatever, or 3, so I can just keep getting new tracks.
You streamed that last night on Giant Bomb.
I did premium.
Vinny After Dark.
Yeah, good luck streaming that on Twitch. That's just me going, Hey, you guys do you hear this? Yeah, right.
You have to mouth the music with your mouth and make the sounds. That's the only way anyone will know.
Imagine you're hearing this right now. It sounds really good. I
gotta say, I really feel for Harmonix putting this game out right in the middle of a DMCA fucking shitstorm. Like, I can't imagine the worst time for them to release a game that is full of licensed music samples that would ideally be streamed on a platform like, say, Twitch or YouTube, and then running smack dab into a bunch of fucking music lawyers acting like dickheads.
Well, not only that, I mean, I don't know if the content matching works for whatever nightmare you're making with your mixes, but like, imagine at any given time you have 4 music publishers coming after you because you have 4 different tracks from 4 different catalogs playing at the same time. They're all content IDing it at the same time, just fighting to shut you down, just racing to be like, I want this one. Let me at this kid. So yeah, I think the bigger thing that is the dark side to this, I don't know, Alex, maybe you could speak to some of this, is at what point is just ripped open and then all of these stems and tracks are available for doing this for real? Like we're actually.
Oh, they already. They probably already are. If they haven't been already, it will be soon. I don't remember how long it took for the encryption in Rock Band to get cracked, but it eventually did, and all those stems are pretty much out there in various forms on the internet. But
that's kind of,
I have to imagine,
amazing.
It is, but also in 2020, if you're licensing your music digitally for a project like this, I kind of feel like you have to know.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to
yeah,
know
yes.
that this is coming.
I mean, I hope Harmonix and whatever parent company they are under now, because I forget I lost the thread here. But I hope they put that in
Just doing
their
the cam thing.
in their contracts when they do their
Made it worse.
licensing. Yeah, you made it worse. I'm trying to fix your focus. Find it. There you go. You had
okay,
it.
there I am.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
Fix
it's
your
back.
face.
I hope they put that in their contracts where it's like, hey, you can't come after us for damages if this gets cracked and out there.
Yeah.
So there's not. I mean, I wonder. I was reading something real quick. There was like a cyberpunk stream today, and they said something about how they will. They figured out a way to like enter a mode for streaming that'll somehow skip like tracks that might trigger that kind of stuff.
Oh, brother.
And I didn't
That's
really
the
get
worst
into, like,
possible solution. Like, it's a solution, it'll work, but also that is the
Right.
worst outcome.
It is basic, unless it is kind of that you get the like Die Hard on public on public TV style insertions of Mother Flipper, where they're just doing like knockoff versions of the licensed music, like they're just doing like people in garage bands playing like
it just subs in the Kids Bop version for you.
yeah, totally,
just like the wedding band fucking version.
chopped and screwed, slightly off tempo. Just to get around it. That is a cyberpunk nightmare. That's are you streaming now? Let's mute the licensed music from this game. What a weird world we live in. I mean, the whole thing is upside down and upside
Yeah, that's kind
down.
of like the least of our problems lately, but yeah.
Fuser, a lot of fun. I've had
It
a good
is.
time with it. I think
I wish there was a way I could get notified that you were streaming that. I would have watched it. I know we talked like 10 minutes before, and I went one in ear and out the other.
You know, we are
Literally-
playing these things. You can go watch it now.
literally said to you on Discord, hey, I think I gotta go get this thing up, and then I might stream some Fuser in like a half. And you're like, okay, cool, I'll talk to you. And then I think we actually talked. I think we did a Discord call after that, which I was like, hey, what's up? How's it going? I think I'm gonna get this done, and then go stream some. Yeah, and then I streamed.
Yeah, I got no excuse. I just kind of went on living the rest of my night out. But I regret it, and I'll go watch it now. So great. Okay,
Just go watch it. It's a fun time. I wanted it to be. I wasn't sure I was going to do it because I wasn't sure what time I was going to get done with everything, and little pop up thing. Sometimes it's nice to just feel it. Let's go. Hit the buttons and stream. Let's dive into something I think a lot of us can talk about now, because I think we're all living in this world. That PS5. I think so I have one. For those who don't know the saga and the tale, Jeff Gerstmann had done the actual hard work of trying to secure pre-orders for a PS5 and an Xbox Series X by doing all the refreshes and chasing them down. And being responsible for doing his job, and then I sat back and did nothing. But then he was sent them by Microsoft and Sony. So then when he got his in, he sent them over to me. So I have a PS5 and a Series X. Thank you again to Jeff Gerstmann. And so that I set them up. I will start with me being in. I'll start with the good stuff. I played some Astrobot. Everything feels fun and cool. I haven't played a lot of it. I feel like we've talked a lot about it.
I finished it.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, I haven't played a ton of it. Mostly because I spent my time trying to transfer my kids' saves from the PS4 to the PS5. Now, I don't know how many of you did the hook your PS5 up to your PS4 via the network to do the transfer.
No, why would
care.
you? What do you really need to do that?
All
for?
I did,
downloaded
I
some
had my
cloud
bug
saves.
snacks. I had my bug snacks save that I put into the cloud and then downloaded over, and that was it.
Yeah, that's all I did too. Was just whatever was in the cloud save server.
So my kids had accounts that were offline accounts on the PS4, and I was like, okay, I'll just transfer those over. It'll come hopefully with everything and their parental controls and their saves, and it'll come over because they have, my son especially has saves that he is, invested in, and so in order to do that, though, it then said you do the network thing. They need to have PSN accounts to be tied to them, and they did not on PS4. So it's like, okay, I'll make.
Couldn't you just pop them in on a USB?
Yes, I think you could to get the saves over. But at the time, I was like, okay, maybe this will take over all the settings for the stuff. It does not, by the way, and it tells you it's not going to take over the family settings. And you're right, Jeff. At that point, I should have stopped. At that point, I should have stopped and put a USB drive in. or put the USB drive I have on it and put the saves on it and moved it over. You're right. But I didn't do that. I decided to make PSN accounts and tie them to my kids' accounts, not paid ones, not PS Plus, just. And so to do that, I was like, well, I'm not going to do separate email addresses for everybody. I'll do the thing on Google where you can do like your name or your prefix
with the dots,
or plus, and then the something else, and then at Gmail. So it's like I'll just do that, so I don't have to so it all comes into one thing. Whatever I did got my 6-year-old's account permanently banned from PSN.
Maybe they're hip to that now.
I don't know exactly what I did wrong, and it's unfortunate because it was like her name. Like, you have to make an account, right? And it's like her name, like now permanently banned from PSN at 6 years old. And I was like, I'm a terrible dad.
You know what, though? Actually, you may have done her a favor because no one wants their real name as their PSN ID going forward. Like that,
as
eventually.
Someone who has a lot of stupid usernames, boy, do I wish I just used my real one on everything.
I asked her. It's what she wanted, which is now banned.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what I did. And then I contacted support. I called them up. First of all, trying to find the support thing on Sony's website, like most support now, is buried in a million different things. So I found their support finally, and I found a phone number, and I was like, I'll just call them up, get the things like, hey, you've reached Sony support. Unfortunately, we're fucked right now, so we're not taking any calls. Thank you. Not even like a go to the site, not even like a submit a chat. They're just like, we're not taking support calls. Goodbye. So I was like, okay, I'll go to the chat. Went to the chat, and they're like, what's the problem? Okay, here's the problem. I'm an idiot. I think I got my thing. And they were like, okay, well, you should see something in 24 to 48 hours. Haven't seen anything yet, so I don't know. Do I have
How many hours
has
it been?
It's been like 48 hours. So like, do I do this again? Do I just give up and say?
Sounds
no,
miserable.
Vinny. Now is the time to leverage your various PlayStation contacts. Now is the time to start sending emails to everyone you know that works. So it would be like, hey, can you help me out? Can you do something? Now is the time to leverage your power, my friend.
Be like, she's dying here. She hasn't played Fortnite in days. She's got to get on there. She's got to get her kills. She's a streamer, and she's literally losing income now. No, I don't know. It's like not that big a deal because I did wind up transferring them over via USB in the end because that whole process failed. That's my tale. And we're excited to play more PS5 and Xbox Series. It's so exciting. Okay, it really makes me feel great to have these boxes and open them up and see my son and daughter's face when they open up now that they know what they are, and like see them flip out a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, can we play this? Can we do this? Oh yeah, we're going to play it. And like my son looking to my daughter and being like, Dad says the triggers like push back when you, the PS5. Like he says it, and she's like, really? Yeah. He says like, and then my wife was like, so what's new and what's this? I'm like, well, the storage is an issue, and like it's one of the things is like the hard drive space and all this, talking about it, and my son being like, sounds like we're not gonna be able to put a lot of games on there, but I think we'll have to just swap them out a lot. That's what they're talking about. It's very cute. It's awesome. It really, it's really exciting.
They're understanding technical limitations.
I wound up spending, $7,000 more to make sure we have 3 controllers in the house for the PS5, and then I got them little like silicone slips that go over them so that I know exactly when they break theirs that they're gonna have to pay for it on their birthday or Hanukkah or Christmas, so that they are indebted if they break their
sticky little kid fingers, and controllers.
Terrible idea.
Yeah,
terrible idea. So that's most of the time I spent with them setting them up. Astrobot thoughts? You guys have them?
So I also have a PS5. I bought someone else's pre-order off of them basically. And I have been playing Astrobot. Also, my first initial thoughts on the PS5. So I was someone who I like seeing it online. I was like, this design is weird, but I kind of like it. I'm kind of into it. And like seeing it in person, I was like, this is so ugly.
Yeah.
Somehow
It's
beyond
it's heinous.
my expectations. It is so ugly. It is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It is humongous. It is disgusting looking. It's like just flat white. not
Yeah.
in like a nice way. Like
It's
the
insane.
I had a
It
white
is.
PS5 Pro, PS4 Pro, and it was like really classy. It's ugly. The controller's ugly. That being said, the controller's incredible. I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
controller.
Yeah.
It's
feels great.
It is
Yeah.
so strange. I look like it also doesn't matter, right? Like I want everyone needs to understand that the all the shit that we're throwing at the design of the PS5 has nothing to do with how that thing performs. People conflate
No.
that for whatever reason. It is
Yeah.
heinous. It's 11 feet tall.
It's
It's
very
completely unmanageable.
yeah.
It's just like the
It needs a horizontal stand.
It's like
A
what is
horizontal stand.
Listen, I put the stand on it in vertical mode too, so
That's like if somebody sold you a car and it was like, well, the car doesn't work the way you think it's going to work.
Well, I need to
It
sell
needs a
you some
fifth
different
wheel.
tires.
Yeah, it needs a fifth wheel to run that way.
Well, I just put the
Yeah.
I put the Series X down sideways and just stacked the Switch on top of it and was like, we're done. And then with the
Yeah.
PS5, I was like, all right, well, this isn't going sideways because I don't have an extension wing on my house. So I put it vertically and just kind of tucked it back. Yeah, it is. And I think that disc drive on it still just looks like such an afterthought. Like they clearly
It doesn't
did
look
not,
like it belongs there.
Like the digital one just looks like that's the one they thought of first, and they were like, "You forgot the drive," and just slapped the thing on the side. And we're like,
It
"What
really
about
does.
what about
Yeah.
now?"
It's
Like,
also
I
when
don't-
I was putting my disc in the first time, I was like, I can't tell which way is up and which way is down.
Sure,
Yeah.
why? That's a completely reasonable critique. Crazy.
It's not that I love like the Series X design necessarily, but the worst thing you can say about the Series X design is it's just kind of dorky looking. It's just a little rectangle with, and
I
you
like
can
it.
kind of
Yeah,
kind
but-
of understand why it's shaped that way because it's just shooting hot air out of the top of it constantly.
It's a chimney.
It looks
It's
like
totally
a tiny
serviceable.
computer tower.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
like
and
the PS5, its design is ugly in service of nothing. Like there's nothing about the
It's
system
bizarre.
that determines it has to look like that. It just does, and it's baffling.
I think my wife's
that-
words were,
yeah.
"Huh," when I took it out of the
Yeah.
box.
Like people are trying to compare it to the Oculus in Lower Manhattan. I mean, look, like yeah, the Oculus seems like unnecessary in a way, but it's just like
I mean, that thing is also ugly in service of nothing. But
Totally.
I
nonetheless-
don't hate the Oculus.
I mean, it's better than the PS5. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I just it is such a departure from the Pro and the base PS4, and it's just like, man,
It's a choice. It's
a
fine. I
choice.
was just surprised seeing it in person, being like, ugh, yuck.
I don't
Anyway.
hate it as much as you guys. Like I think it looks. I think it's a little overdone.
yeah, because it hasn't pierced your furniture yet. Just until that happens.
I think it's definitely a choice for, like you said. I don't hate it as my biggest problem is that disk drive bump on the side that just is like it just looks like such like the whole thing looks like it is extremely thought out. Where you would look at a design book and it's
Yeah.
82 pages where they start from a circle and they're like, well, here's the story of the PS5. It's a experience and we wanted to put this, and you have one of those.
We forgot the disk drive. We forgot the disk
yeah,
drive.
you have one of those logo books because you had to pay $75,000 for a company or branding company to make your thing, and they're like, I don't know, I thought of this in 20 seconds. Well, we charged them $75,000. Fine, I'll make the book where I do a whole backstory behind why it fucking looks like this. Here we go, and then you get to the end, they're like, it's perfect. It just needs a disk drive, like the Sharpie side with a line down the side. It's
Yeah.
ugh,
Anyway,
yes.
I am blown away by the controller. I think it's amazing. And I think
It is.
Astrobot is clearly just like, check out what the controller
Yeah.
can do. Like it has so many, like, there's one part in it where you're like rolling as a ball and you use like the top like touchpad to like roll the ball. And it's like, it feels like hard stones and it goes into mud and then it goes into hard stones and then it's like grass and like sand. And it's clearly just like, feel the textures. And every time I'm like, it feels really good. I love the
Mhm.
feeling of these textures. It makes me very excited for what they're going to do with the triggers, especially. I think they're so good. And I felt it a little bit in like the new Call of Duty, but I hope that it doesn't go the same way that like the HD Rumble did on the Switch. And I hope that people actually use it in their games because I think it's really,
Yeah.
really neat.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting a little more magic, but it is that Switch HD Rumble taken to maybe the next step, like the next logical step. You know, it still feels like there's a little computer inside there where it doesn't feel completely organic. It still feels like the machines are making the stick rumble, not in a way that you know. To me, it didn't feel like.
I think for me, that doesn't bother me so
doesn't
much.
bother. No, it doesn't bother me. I think
it's so much better.
I think from just hearing people talk about it, I think I expected something different than what I got. I was like, yeah, this is neat, and I'm 100% with you. I hope not only do I hope developers put it into PS5 games, I hope Microsoft does an iteration on their controller that puts it in there and allows for Xbox Series X and PS5 games that are cross-platform to have them both in it, because
That'd be cool.
I can see myself in a situation where I might even be my preference for the playing on a certain platform because of the way that controller works, if it's built in. So we'll see. And it'll be extra work, you know, if they just have to put it into a PS5 version, which means they probably wouldn't do it, or it would be, you know, unless they got co-marketing money from Sony, it'd be something that they're like, this is like 115th on our list and we're already delayed. So you know, good luck.
I do also think, like, I think the HD Rumble is really good, but I also think the Astrobot's sound and audio design is so well done that it makes the HD Rumble seem better than it is too. Anyway, I really like, I find Astrobot very charming, especially for like a free game that's clearly just like to show off the features of your system.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, and it's also just a big, goofy celebration of check out all this PlayStation hardware you may have already bought over the years. Like, I didn't know I wanted that, but a playroom full of, like, fucking, you know, network adapters for the PS2 and, like, PSP attachments is a thing I actually really liked. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like super satisfying in a way that, you know, all those rendered out things are so great. And it's been this like really fun history lesson for my kid, who's just like, did you have that one, Dad? I'm like, yeah, I fucking bought that thing too. I don't know.
Yep, I had move controllers. What the fuck was I thinking?
We were just kids back then, you know. We were just kids back then. So yeah, I think it's been really good. I don't think Astrobot is maybe like the Wii Sports.
No,
I mean, Wii Sports is so good
for sure, and Astrobot's a pretty, you know, once you sort of 100% everything, I feel like there's, you know, not really much of a reason to go back. But yeah, I love it, and I think the controller, they like in retrospect, if they didn't do this, have the game that plays into it so well, and like basically said, this is more or less a 5-hour tutorial of how to appreciate the benefits of the new controller. Like, I don't think that message would have been delivered as succinctly.
Yeah,
so,
it's a good. It should be like Astrobot to demo, or here's why you spent $500, right? Like it's because I had that same. I had a situation where I had them plugged in. I knew exactly what I wanted to do on the PS5, boot up Astrobot, start playing it. And when I put the Xbox Series X in, I wasn't exactly sure what to do. You know, like what my next step should be. What should I download? What should I play? What shows off this console? In a way that's like, you know, okay, I can sit here and download Forza, but this is a blessing and a curse for Microsoft, and we've said this ad nauseum, but a lot of this stuff I played on my PC at high resolutions that you know, didn't have HDR, it didn't have some of the other bells and whistles, but I think I kind of knew what I was getting in for. And good on Sony for just packing in something that's like, I'm going to show off this console, here's a fun thing to play, and also making it kid friendly, where it's not just like, check out these decapitations, where I knew exactly what the kids would want to jump into. And the same thing with Sackboy. I think they're going to have fun playing this weekend with Sackboy.
It's a good game,
and it is local co-op, right? I assume it is local co-op. I haven't dug that far deep into it. I bought 2 other controllers, and that's like $150 worth of controllers. That thing better be local co-op. I assume it is. Yeah, and you know, I have Game Pass, so I know there are plenty of games we can play on the Series X and download them. But nothing jumped out at me right away. I think for that very reason that I played a lot of these on the PC, and I kind of know how nice it looks. Though my wife did say when we booted up the Series X, she's like, "Wow, that is crisp looking at the menus." And it's because we've only seen the Xbox One, not in 4K. And because when I loaded up,
it's not the Xbox One X, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
so funny.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the menus are only in 1080p.
Are they really? Are they?
I think so.
Okay.
yeah.
I think they are, but it's a really nice 1080p.
Yeah,
It's a solid
It's a
1080p.
really
It's
good
the
one.
most 1080p that anyone's ever 1080p.
It just goes to show you that it don't matter.
Yeah, I think that's kind of maybe the vibe I've gotten from both these consoles. Like the Xbox Series X mostly works just fine. I found that sometimes games hitch a little bit when it's downloading stuff in the background, but other than that, like it seems like it works. It's functional. It's workmanlike in that way. Everything about the PS5, everything about the PS5 just feels expensive. Like they decided to make a console that felt every dollar of that $500, and they needed the experience to come across that way. And unfortunately, the UI did not keep up, but everything else about it kind of has that, like, you just bought a luxury item vibe to it that is unmistakable.
I did have my I'm a little lost here in the PS5 menus moments people have been talking about. Like,
it took me a week to figure out how to turn it off.
Yes, to put it into sleep mode. Like what is the?
Yeah,
it seems like there's two different ways to get there from wherever you are, and that seems weird.
Well, it's crazy because I guess you could get there in like 1, 2, 3 presses, but it's still, everyone's so used to holding down that button.
Why take that away?
That doesn't do shit. I find it a little confusing. I find it puzzling. I don't like all the especially now because everything is like it's on both platforms. So like I have these games I've downloaded, and then I go to play them, and it's like download. I thought I just downloaded it, hit it download, and then I realized it's downloading the fucking PS4 version. And it's like one thing for you to be able to toggle between them, but like it seems to default to the one you haven't downloaded like half the time. And I'm like,
you're bringing up a very valid point. Like as much as I love to shit on the terminology known as smart delivery, the fact that like PS5 doesn't just do that and shut up about it. You know what I mean? Like smart delivery is great. I just wish you wouldn't tell me about it. Now I want that functionality for Sony without having to ask for it. Right.
Or you just put an option there to like default to PS5 version, right?
But like,
why isn't that already?
I don't know.
I know. Like I don't know. Like it's one thing to have like the 3 dots and then go to PS4, but it seems like it wants to default to PS4 half the time, or the one that's not downloaded, which I find just baffling.
The first version of Spider-Man that I downloaded was the PS4 version. And I was just like, what really the hell's going on? How
I bought the Ultimate Edition, and then the first thing it did was try to download the PS4 version. I was like, no, I don't want this.
Yeah. It's also
go ahead.
Oh, I'm changing a little bit, but to more of like confusing PlayStation UI stuff. So I have been playing Call of Duty and Fortnite on my PlayStation, and the in-game chat. So it's the microphone's very cool because the controller's very cool because it has a built-in microphone that you can just mute really easily. It's really, really neat, and it's really well designed and like easy to use. But my like in-game chat comes out of my microphone. It doesn't come out of my like console speakers.
You could change that.
I don't know how. I've gone through the menus. I've gone through every single thing in the menus. There's nothing listed there. I do not know how to change it. If anybody knows how, please, for the love of God, tell me, because I can't fix it. It's also like I wear headphones all the time, so I have to like not have audio when I'm like chatting with people.
I'm pretty sure those are similar settings. I'll go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it's a simple thing.
I have looked through everything. I maybe I'm missing it, but I looked through my settings menu, every single thing in there, and then I've also looked through that weird menu where like when you hit the PlayStation button a million times, it pops up on the bottom. I've looked through all of them. I've taken the ones that down I can take, and then put the new ones up, and I've looked through all of them, and I cannot find the thing that gets rid of it. I've looked in the individual games to see if there's a way to change the output, and I can't seem to.
I knew. Look, like. I knew I was just waiting for this kind of stuff to sort of percolate to and sort of come up to the surface, right? Like there's just so many things that you find as you really, play with it, more, outside of what you would call like a review period or whatever it is. Like I'm just finding there's just such strange settings, like especially with now the talk about 120 hertz performance on PS5 and how there seems to be some confusion about where that ability is unlocked and whether or not it's in that part of the PS5 settings where you basically decide like fidelity performance defaults, where you could say like, go with what the game wants to do, go with image quality, or go with performance. And if you set it to performance, then it will default games to go into like high frame rate mode, which would maybe then let you enter 120 hertz mode. I like there's just not enough content there yet to really like figure it out. For this, I sort of just say like, well, fucking let Digital Foundry figure it out. And
Yeah, they'll get it.
What's going on. And then I'm reading some stuff now today about the variable refresh rate functionality on PS5 and how that might not be a thing, which would kind of suck. I don't
for
I don't
TVs
know.
that support it and the
For
HDMI
TVs that support
2.1.
it. Yeah. So I do believe Digital Foundry thinks that it's just not a thing yet.
Okay.
I had reached out and I'm waiting to hear back as well. So hopefully there's a bit more clarity on like what that all means. But as of right now, that for me, for people I know a handful of people who went out and bought new televisions for this console. So that would be a bit of a letdown if VRR is like not a thing out of the box. So
something just turned on. Who turned the thing on? That was a good noise. Did you hear like a pop?
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
No, I think that was you.
I thought that was somebody holding the clicky thing.
Wait, you heard
it was you, Vinny.
Like Jeff clicked a pen or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be weird to not have messaged beforehand if it's not in it right now.
Yeah, I feel like it's not even close. Like Microsoft has been a lot more transparent about that stuff than Sony has. And again, like I think a lot of that is just the messaging and the sort of like positioning of how they wanted the consoles to be perceived and sort of received as well. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. But right now, I'm a little. I'm not troubled. I think they both perform really well.
You are mildly peeved.
I'm just a little peeved. I want to know if I'm getting my my money's worth on the things I didn't pay for. So.
That must be nice.
Did all of you, when you swap these in, if they are in your more permanent situation, I don't know if they're. I know we're all doing like capture stuff and weird things, but swap the actual cables that were fed into the TV with the new ones that came with the console.
Oh yeah.
No, I did not.
Well,
you did not.
For the displays.
I'm using all the new stuff, but I'm also plugged into an Elgato into a computer monitor. So I'm like, I'm not getting the best out of my PS5 right now.
I kept the same cables because the HDMI cables I have are like new. They're not the ones that came with the previous consoles.
Ultra
so I did not feel
already.
like I mean, they're good. I wouldn't say they're like the top of the line ones, but they're nice and they seem to do the job just fine.
I was worried mine were not in spec, even though my TV is not necessarily going to support all that stuff. But I dug them all out and redid all the wiring just to make sure they were the ones that came with it. Even though I don't have, my TV does not support HDMI 2.1. It can never be too short.
That's the thing. Like you're going to need the ones that come with the consoles to take advantage of that. And there are decently rated and priced ones coming out. On places like Amazon. Like I was able to actually
the ones I have are all 2.1 spec.
Okay.
Nice. So yeah, those are slowly
my
coming
TV
out.
is not.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're running it through, some sort of capture device, unless it's like one of those, we have a couple of those Samurai boxes that'll maybe pass that along, but something like an Elgato is just not going to cut it. No. Maybe 4K 60 is the best you'll get out of it.
I took my VR,
which is good for a small consumer grade capture card. But yeah,
sure.
I took the VR out of the thing. I don't have the adapter for it. The PlayStation VR. Does anybody have the adapter and know if it passes through signal? All right.
I think Jeff is the only one I know that has the adapter.
Okay, got that. All right. So far. From the 5 minutes I had, I got my daughter's account banned and wasn't sure what to download on the Series X yet. But
you can just see she's had a job interview and she's like, well, your resume is amazing, but what happened in 2020 with that PSN ban? I mean,
she'll just be like, what didn't happen in 2020? And then high five and be like,
Father,
Dad. Right. You're like, why does your name have like 3 vowels in a row? Well, Interesting story. I had my real name. I had my real name at first, but my dad boned it up.
O's or zeros, Roxy?
Yeah. Oh, I feel bad. I gotta fix. I don't even care. She's not doing anything online. It was just now I just feel bad because it is banned. Somewhere it is banned. Which just unban it. Somebody messaged me if they know if it is because I use the Gmail, like my name plus a thing, and it's the same thing.
I think they must have like started triggering
cracking
that
down
or something
on that.
like
It's
that.
like, hey, this is multiple accounts from one email address. If it's that, somebody let me know. If it's not, I don't do it again. If you know.
I spent a good 20 minutes kind of digging through some of the settings. This isn't completely related, but like, I've had the problems of my kid buying stuff, and like I can't get it still to like where it needs to be set. Because like and another thing, like unless I just lock my account, like maybe that's the thing, right? Like because now he likes to play online because he likes the idea, and then he'll be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm in the store. I'll hit X," like, and I'm just like, "No,
he
you don't
taunts
need."
You?
Yeah, I'm like, you don't need a freaking Ghostbusters goal animation, although it is pretty sick. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man comes out of the goal when you score.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Has he seen Ghostbusters yet?
No, but he knows what that is. Like,
isn't it amazing? All these kids just are learning all these things from video games. It's so weird.
Or you're in a very, very specific situation where all of your sort of like pop culture is absorbed through pinball machines, and you think that like
there it is,
and you think that like Willy Wonka started as like some sort of pinball machine, and like Ninja Turtles. No, he did after the pinball machine, and now it's happening with Ninja Turtles, where he's like he knows all about Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang, and then he's gonna see some shitty '90s cartoon and be like, "Whoa, they really dumbed it down for cartoons, didn't they, Dad?" Like
every parent someday has to tell their child about the Krangs and the Shredders. That is just it is a talk of life that must be had.
Absolutely.
Let's keep moving on here before we run out of time with the games. Alex, you have continued playing Valhalla.
Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of the same stuff for the most part. I have continued on in Valhalla. I still don't really know what I think of that game. Like, I'm still trying to formulate an actual opinion about it. Like, there are things I think are interesting that are going on. There's a lot of stuff that I don't. And like at a certain point, I feel like I'm starting to burn out, even though I'm not playing this like review style. Like I got to play it all in one stretch. Like I'm just kind of burning out on the progression in that game. And I don't know. I need to go further to really see where I land on it. But right now it's just not really hooking me in a way that isn't just the sort of unconscious lizard brain thing where I just need to complete open world games, like it isn't the actual things the game is doing that is propelling me forward so much as just the formula. So yeah.
I checked them all out again to see where I had all the Assassin's Creed, debating whether or not I should fill in the gaps with the ones I've missed before and try and really do a catching up. We'll see. We'll see. Yakuza Like a Dragon.
I am hot and cold on that game, more so than I have been other recent games by that studio. There are things about it I really like. I think there are some story elements that I think are really interesting, and some of the character work they're doing is really good. I think some of it is also just feels like it's missing the mark pretty hard. I need to get further because I'm about, I'd say like 15 hours into that game, maybe 16. And it's closer to like 60 to 80 when you do all of it. So we'll see where I end up. But it feels like there's some characters that are getting the short shrift in it. And it feels like the game does not always quite have the chops to talk about the things and address the things that it wants to address.
Okay.
And there are aspects of the combat that I think have not completely worked for me. So I read a thing today, which I guess at some point the director was talking about how the idea to turn that game into a full-on turn-based like combat system came in the last 11 months of development. There was originally just going to be a brawler like all the other ones, and then they did this video, which was I guess intended as a prank, but of them like showing like JRPG style combat, and then they was like, well, everyone loved this, so why don't we just do it?
That's the best way to do it.
And the thing is, like, I think for something they put together in like 11 months, I feel like they did a good job on it, but there are aspects of it that just feel not altogether there. Like, characters getting caught up on the scenery, like when they're trying to space themselves to get ready to do attacks. It's really hard to tell where area of effect stuff is going to work versus where it isn't. It's just like little things that feel like, okay, you did cobble this together, as opposed to like this was always the design.
Yeah. Like you got the letter of the law here, but maybe not the spirit of what this stuff should be.
Like this is a thing that needs another pass at refining it. But it's not bad, and I'm not hating it. It's just frustrating when it feels like it's not working the way it's supposed to, especially when you get into a section that is like a long string of battles that just keep coming at you. Like, it's like a dungeon style thing. So again, I think I need to get further to really sense where I'm going to land on it. But right now it's just kind of like there are some very high peaks and there are some fairly low valleys, and it's just kind of oscillating between them without a lot of middle ground. So we'll see where I end up.
Yakuza,
and then I've also been
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yes. And then I've also played a decent chunk of Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That was the
I
first
also started it. But...
Yeah, that was the first new game that I went and grabbed for the system and immediately booted that up. And like, I can tell it's not going to be a long experience. I'm maybe like 2 hours into it, and it feels like I've already played a pretty good chunk of it. But I'm vibing with it. Like, it has like I think the depiction of Miles is really good. I think the stuff they set up with like his family moving to Harlem, all that stuff is really interesting. I don't love that we are again talking about a crazy corporation and their MacGuffin energy source as the source of whatever the fuck is going on in that game. But
it's like, why does that always happen?
It's just such a comic book thing, and like I know, get
but
it.
Like it's always energy. It's always like really cheap universal energy.
You know what people always need? Energy.
That's true.
What like do something cool with like a new monorail system, right? Like and they're hiding something.
That's cool.
New York. We're gonna solve New York's transportation issues with a fucking monorail.
Do it. Where's the Simpsons? Do the Simpsons reference? This is like a setup.
Monorail. Yes, it's that. But it's just like, oh my god, that was the first thing I thought when I was playing this game. I'm like looking around. I'm like, they're doing this shit again.
Yeah, I don't. So far I don't really care too much about what's going on with that stuff or like the subplots, but like just the swinging around, being Miles Morales in the city, doing the side ventures for people who need your help and stuff, like that's the fun part. And they like
that's what I liked about the like original game as well.
Totally.
Like I found a lot of the story like really broad video game boring shit. But like the interpersonal stuff and the smaller stuff and just like the moment to moment stuff was what was like actually fun.
I think the combat is like very challenging and a lot of fun to figure out. All that feels real nice. But yeah, it does. I do think this is gonna ultimately feel like a bit of a short game that is which is fine. But
I think there's enough there to justify the expense and what the production they put into it. But it does feel like they're gearing up for a much more full-throated Spider-Man experience somewhere down the road. This was just kind of like, hey, this is the direction we're going in. We're getting stuff ready for the next big one. But here you go. Here's some Miles Morales to put into your new console.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to playing it. I haven't downloaded it yet. And
it's fun. Just keep swinging. It also seems like
it loads so incredibly fast. It's like unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
I don't even notice them. Everybody's talking about the loading, but I think because they're so fast, it's just like I'm like, oh right, loading screens. But I do think that the Miles Morales game. So I haven't played the other one in a long time, but I feel like the Miles Morales game starts you off with a bunch of the like upgraded combat moves. So it's not like you're starting from like this very beginning again, but it still does a good job of not feeling like you're overwhelmed if you didn't play it
right.
If you played it 8 months ago or whatever. So I think
like there's a skill tree,
the combat alone.
Yeah, but it's very condensed.
Yeah.
Speaking of loading times, I was just about ready to put a Red Dead 2 on the internal drive on that PS5 and then saw how much space it was going to take up and was like, maybe I don't do this.
So I got to tell you, the storage thing is going to be a nightmare. It's just until they figure out a good solution for like actual like external SSD storage and what have you, like it's going to be a nightmare. As much as I don't like the cost associated with it and what that thing is, just plugging the memory drive into the Series X and having it just be like, oh, now you have 1.3 terabytes of available space, and not having to go through any rigmarole to make that work and recognize is not worth $200, but cool. But cool nonetheless.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the only way you're going to be able to expand PS5 is internally.
Yeah. And
That's
they
for
soldered
sure.
that shit in, man.
Well, there's that
Right,
slot.
so
there's
that NVMe slot.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like, yeah, I don't know. I was actually looking at those lately just for my own personal, storage needs, and man, we'll see, because then you have a situation where by the end of your PS5's, life cycle, right? Like you're going to need 10 terabytes on this thing, right?
Yes, by the time the PS5 hits menopause, your needs will have absolutely outstretched whatever storage solutions they have for you.
And we're definitely going down that road with like affordability and like where the returns are coming with storage, but just I'm just wonder about like how many times will you need to like dump and transfer,
I suspect we'll get a refresh. We'll get a console refresh somewhere down the line. Maybe Sony puts an external slot on their console, so that we wind up in a situation where the price comes down for these things. Maybe they start making smaller ones. Maybe we get in a situation where you have like Mad Cats or whatever Mad Cats is making binders for your 1 gigabit card, so you put like a game per thing on it. I don't like, it's gonna, like, the games are gonna bloat, but storage is gonna get bigger. So the assets for the games are gonna get larger as we move forward, but also storage options will get bigger. So right now,
well, that's true. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's true to a degree. But I think actually Miles Morales on PS5 is smaller in size than it is on PS4, and I think part of the reason is because of the way that's like you're right that like as textures and resolutions get higher, there's definitely like a quality bump to that stuff. But it sounds like the way that they are able to package stuff into these games, especially if they know the hardware, like they are actually able to achieve some things that are not necessarily like, we don't have to make this game 200 gigs necessarily.
I think that's what I read, is the way they can optimize it for the seeking times and everything, make it actually a little smaller or more efficient.
Got to do it for Call of Duty.
Yes.
But I think that remains to be seen. And like, I kind of feel like there's no way around it. This stuff is going to get bigger. Like,
totally.
I would put money down on it. But again, I think like I hopefully am waiting to get into expanded storage at the next iteration, at the next big bump up to say 1 terabyte or 1.5.
I mean, you can get an NVMe 1 terabyte now for under $100.
But
so
in the new spec, I don't think it.
Well, that's where that's where no, you can't. And the more the transfer speed that it's going to require presumably ups that price.
Right.
But again, these things do drop in price, and they have been dropping in price substantially fast. Like, I have a 2 terabyte in this machine, and I think I paid like $300 for it, and now it's at like $210. So it comes down fast.
That's why I just kind of want to wait until we get to like, can I get, before I pop open the sides of the PS5 and put something in there and put the sides back on, I kind of want it to be not 500 gigs. I want it to be at 1 terabyte or 1.5.
Yeah, no, I think I'm shooting for 2 terabytes.
That'd be nice.
I hope that, that's what I'm shooting for right now for my first upgrade.
To me, 2 terabytes, I would pay $200 for a 2 terabyte. Like, I'm okay spending that money on that storage. That's probably my price to dive in ratio on that. I don't think I would spend $400 on 2 terabytes to add the storage on there.
Nor should you.
I just worry about like the whole like, oh, here comes the Western Digital or Samsung PS5 certified drive that's like, packs in like a $50, fucking.
Well, they kind of said they weren't going to do that, right? And I think even Microsoft said they're going to open it up a bit there too.
So, I hope so.
Yeah, I think they kind of have to, and I can't see a way around it really if they wind up having to shuffle games. If you have 5 games on a system, and we'll see what happens. Anybody try? Actually, Alex, you're good on games, because I was going to jump into
that's what I've been playing.
The Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the new Call of
haven't played
Duty.
it.
Speaking of gigantic downloads, first of all, what is
Yes.
the download for new Call of Duty? Is it huge and
I feel like it was like
obnoxious?
190 gigs.
Wait for the new one.
I
Yeah.
think so because
Okay.
I remember very specifically
Lessons learned.
being like,
We're moving. We're all moving forward.
being like, should I get it on disc? Like, I really just want to play it right now. And then I saw the download for it, and I was like, oh boy,
Is this true?
Then I wound
'Cause
up getting a code anyway. So yeah, that was like a legitimate thing.
That's a
I was
lot.
like, maybe
I believe it.
And-
maybe I'll
believe it.
just get it on disc.
And let me tell you this, like, I know we talked about it last week where we were just like worried about, or at least we were talking about, oh, is the, copying drama over? And while it did copy much faster than PS4, I was stuck in limbo for like 7 minutes, which again, like,
I mean,
okay.
it's better than 37, which is what
Right,
it
but
used
that's
to be.
like
But
out of the gate, right? Like, so
Yeah.
if it's 7 minutes now, I get it. Just saying, the fact that I was like watching the same goddamn
I
screen again.
know.
on
What are we doing?
PS5, where it was like, hold on, Jeff, we'll get you right there. We're just copying over all this shit. And I was just like, don't do this to me right now. It did go relatively fast, but
Yeah, it did. It also gave you the option to be like, which things do you want to download? Because it's like you got zombies, you got the campaign, you got the multiplayer, you got
Okay.
Warzone. So like you can do piecemeal stuff, which is nice if it's like, look, I just want to play multiplayer and I just want to play zombies. I don't want to download the rest.
Right.
Like it seems like it gives you that option, which is pretty cool. But
That's
it
a
was
lot.
the big in.
That's
It was big.
That's
And like, look, I have a few
that's
games on my
obnoxiously
console.
big.
I haven't pulled up yet.
Yeah.
So whatever. But
But isn't
yeah.
it's kind of shocking you could fill up basically because the usable space on that thing is what, like 700 gigs? So like
I think it's like 660.
so you're filling you're basically filling a third of your drive up with this one
Yeah.
game.
yeah, it's a Call of Duty box. That's what it is.
That is
Well,
pretty
that's like-
wild.
I had to like, because I was playing Modern Warfare for a while and I kept it on my PS4 for a while because
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And like every so often it's like, yeah, good to hop in or somebody wants to play with me. But like the updates were a thing that it was like, I don't have room for anything else. I had to like delete it. And I anticipate this will
That's
probably be
wild.
somewhat similar. But anyway, I
Okay,
really
how's
like
the
the Call of
game?
Duty
Yeah.
so far.
Okay.
I find it very fun. I have played I didn't play the Warzone, but I did do zombies and I did do a little bit of the campaign and I did do a bit of multiplayer. And the multiplayer, it doesn't seem like it's doing really anything new.
I think it
I know
plays a lot different though. I think the moment to moment like engine-ness of it is
What do you
different. I just think it feels different, like in terms of the speed of the gameplay and the overall, I'm pretty sure it is a different engine, right? Like this game
Yeah.
just does have a different feel the way, a brand new pair of pants has when you put them on for the first time.
I
Like,
really find it to not feel that much different. I think personally, I think I want to say this was Modern Warfare. I had this issue. I could be misremembering, but I feel like Modern Warfare, I never wanted to like make a new gun loadout. Whereas this one, I do feel like I am back into like, all right, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do that one. And they didn't make it to be like, you got to be level 40 to unlock a knife, which is like, I hate that shit. Like, let me have a knife. That's like let me have that quick. Anyway, so there is that, but I feel like, it's also, I think part of it is like, I remember going from like, I don't remember the two, but it was like World War II and whatever one came after World War II. And like, I really loved World War II. And then I took a break and then I went to the next one. And then I went back to World War II and I was like, oh my God, these feel night and day different. Whereas like, I feel like for this one, I think if I went back to Modern Warfare, it would still feel like similar shooting.
Oh, see, I could not disagree more. I
Interesting.
think Modern Warfare right now, going back to it, I think it's a better experience. I think it's just smoother, and
The new
There's
one or
certain-
Modern Warfare?
the older one, the Modern Warfare. I think it's definitely a smoother overall thing. I think like, there was a lot of stuff like there's no running through doors in the new one. There's certain, there's certain items in the world that like you would probably be able to maybe jump on in Modern Warfare that this you just kind of can't. And again, that's like, I don't know if that's a limitation of like deliberate design or just a limitation of how, the sort of things put together, but it definitely and I'm not joking when I say this, the running around definitely feels different in this because, from what I gather, it's that older, Blops stuff, right?
Blop.
Like it's the older
Yeah.
Blops engine. So,
But Abby hasn't affected your enjoyment of it?
I haven't been bothered by it. I mean, I do. There are some gun loadouts where it's like, oh, I got a heavy gun. I'm running more slowly. But I don't think that that's abnormal. I don't know. I didn't notice, but I also haven't been playing Modern Warfare right up to the release of this one, like I think you were, Jeff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think now you and Jeff have to fight.
Yeah, no, you should go back and play it. I'd be super curious to hear what you think because
now delete this one.
Yeah,
download the other
and let us know in 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm fucking copying over. What do you think about like all the wild like vibration stuff?
I think I don't know. So sometimes it'll just like do a little like ping vibration. I feel like it's trying to tell me something. I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck.
I think someone told me it's when an enemy has seen you.
But I feel like I have flash stuff on screen for that. So when it like vibrates and I don't have that perk, I'm like, is it though?
That is completely unfounded. that is some fucking telephone bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that means. That's like I heard this at recess. Someone told me, but I'm sure it means something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, there's like some vibrating stuff that I don't know what it means. You know, I can feel it definitely in the triggers a bit, the like new trigger stuff.
So like there seems to be a very divided team, sort of audience there where like some people are like, no, it changes the way you play. I turn it off, but I like it. I like how it changes from gun to gun. I think it's wild how like, you have like a small SMG that's like firing away, and
this
then
is all PS4 or PS5, right? You're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's really a fun thing. I think when it comes to like, I can understand people not digging it because of the competitiven
right. I mean, people are so like, I like any advantage I need it. So like the little bit of resistance, I guess he would be like, no way. But I enjoy it. I don't know. I like that kind of immersion, and I think it's they clearly there's like some intentionality there, like you said, with each gun feeling different and everything. But.
Yeah, it's fun. I can't look away from the gimmick. I'm sort of like, I don't care if my KDR is shit. This feels cool.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm having fun with this new one. I also played a bit of the campaign, which I don't usually do for Call of Duty games. And I was surprised how much I enjoyed it because it is Cold War. So it's a bit espionage-y. And like the first mission, it's like everybody's in like late 70s, early 80s clothes. And it's kind of stylish. And it doesn't just feel like the same sort of like military desert feel that I feel like so many of these other games have had, at least from the start. I mean, granted, a couple missions later, you like go to Vietnam and it's like, it just feels a little tone deaf. Where like every time you like shoot up like these like country houses in a village, some dude on the helicopter is like, hell yeah! It's like, okay, like weird, but fine.
The tone being off is the tone of Black Ops. Right. It always has been.
Yes, but I'm intrigued by like the spy espionage setting. Jeff, have you played it at all? Because they also have stuff. Okay, they have stuff in between because it's classic Call of Duty where you sort of like hop into a mission. And like it's sort of like level based, a little bit arcadey in that sense, but you do have like this board that has like clues, and like you can discover clues from doing these missions. And I don't know if it actually will like matter to the story if you like uncover a thing before you get into it. I'm not sure yet, or if it's just sort of like flavor before you do it. But I'm enjoying the wrappings of it. I think I don't know. I'm having fun with it. More fun with the campaign than I expected to. All things considered, considering I don't usually play those. I also played a bit of zombies. Jeff, have you played any zombies?
Have not. Only multiplayer for this guy.
Okay. I played Black Ops 2. Well, zombies is multiplayer, not to be.
Thank you.
Anyway, I think in like Black Ops 2 ages ago, I had like roommates who really like zombies. So I like played a bit with them and they were really into it. And I was like, maybe I'll try to get into it. And I've only played solo so far. I think I'm going to play with some people tonight, but it seems good. I enjoy it. I don't remember all the like tricks of the trade with the zombies, but as far as zombies go, I mean, I didn't keep up with them, so I don't really have much to compare it to, but I'm enjoying it. And I enjoy it even just playing solo. I mean, it's just like a classic horde mode, but.
And now you can download just zombies if you want.
I guess so. I don't know if you can buy it piecemeal.
No,
but yeah,
I don't think you can. But I mean, I guess that is something if you could just uninstall the parts you're done with. Like if you finished a campaign, hopefully you can uninstall that. That's I as somebody who I never finished that Modern Warfare campaign.
I didn't either, but I don't.
I usually go the other way. Usually I just play the campaign and then don't play the multiplayer because I get smoked because I'm terrible at it. I'm curious to see how this one plays out. I'll know a lot of people really love Modern Warfare. The last one.
Yeah, I mean, I like Modern Warfare a lot, and I loved the multiplayer in it. I found the campaign for Modern Warfare like tonally bad, but not in the way that this is, where it's like tonally it's a little weird, but it's like overall kind of goofy. So I'm like, meh. Whereas I feel like Modern Warfare was like deadly serious, so it was harder for me to look past it. But I'm really enjoying this new Call of Duty. I feel like some people seem down on it, or they seem down on the beta, which I didn't play, but I'm really enjoying it. I don't think I have the same complaints other people do as far as like the feeling of the multiplayer. It feels fine to me.
I think my curiosity comes from, will it pull people out of Modern Warfare into this multiplayer, or will people play it for a while and then be like, well, let's go back to playing Modern Warfare? I'll be curious to see what those numbers are like.
People loved Modern Warfare in a way that people have not loved Call of Duty multiplayer in some time.
I think the maps in this new one are really good. I love the maps in Cold War. I think
there's that like deserty one, which is fun. It's like weird. It's huge, but
satellite,
got like the dune shit.
Yeah, it's fun. I think they're really, for me, the Modern Warfare maps, maybe as they evolved and more came out, I kind of got on board. But for me, that's a big part of it. And I think the stock maps are really solid.
What if they bring them into Modern Warfare? They make those maps and pull them into Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I mean, if they I don't see how the game doesn't do as well if they just kind of do the Modern Warfare playbook, right? Like, I think, obviously that game's really good, and it's, but it was supported by a really good, cycle, right? A really good loop. And I think if that loop stays intact for the most part, I think you'll have similar results. I don't think the two, it's funny, like my best way to assess it from looking outside my personal experience are the idiots I play with, and they all seem to have like a bit of like stage fright with the new one, where like it's like, I don't want to go on the deep end just yet, like don't uninstall Modern Warfare just yet. But I can tell
I've been in this relationship a really long time, and I'm a little uncomfortable getting out there again.
Exactly, but I can tell that they're eventually gonna get pushed over the edge, and will just be exclusively Cold War. What
they need to do is they push a patch that ruins something, and they'll be like, oh, but like they're really doing it intentionally. Like they nerf the like run speed, or the slide's terrible now, and then push everybody onto the new one.
Well, it's funny because like I don't think it's deliberate, but it's like I feel like I played the other night, and Modern Warfare still had like all the Halloween bullshit on, and I was like, what, they just like
fell asleep here,
left the lights on and just like left the apartment, and like
I still haven't cleared the pumpkins out of my Animal Crossing village yet. They're still sitting in front of my house. They'll probably be there for a while, so I get it.
So yeah, we'll see. But there's stuff about Cold War that I'm really digging. So that's going to be the one I go to first for now, for sure.
I think it's fun. Stylistically, I enjoy it. I have been enjoying it. It feels good to get back into Call of Duty again. Ooh, I love Call of Duty. I wish the save file was even bigger.
I wish it was
300
just
gig.
Yeah.
I deleted it and downloaded it again just because I loved it so much.
I downloaded the PlayStation 4 version 2 just so I can have it twice.
That's funny. Abby, what else have you been playing?
I've actually been playing kind of a lot this week. So because I had the PS5, I also started playing Watch Dogs Legions. Have anybody else played it?
No, I still want to, even though I've heard mixed things, but I still want to give it a shot.
I enjoy it so far. Yeah. Like, as far as the gameplay goes, it doesn't feel like this is the most modern game around. It's like an open world game with the same open world loop, but I enjoyed the loop. So, and I think what's most fun for me truly is the like, you can be anyone. It is so fun. Like the first woman I am is like this middle-aged, like hairdresser, I think. Her name is Susie. She looks like a 50-year-old woman. She is amazing. I love her so much. It also, I have permadeath on, so I like really don't want her to die. And you're supposed to be like swapping between people, but I only want to be like the weirdos. So like eventually I like recruited this guy named Kenneth, who was like almost 80 years old, and he cannot run, he cannot crouch, he cannot jump over things, and he like has like this little waddle. I love him so much. He's awful to play. It doesn't make any sense for the gameplay. And I think that shit is so fun and just like this open world goofiness that I really enjoy.
Abby, I think you've invented the all geriatric speed run. That is what you've done here.
But it really is so fun. I don't think I've ever played a game. I think maybe with the exception of like the Syndicate DLC, but I don't think I've ever played a game where I was like a middle-aged woman in like an action game. You know what I mean? So it's like just
Mhm.
fun being able to play that character because you like never see it. And then when I get to be like a weird old man running around who like dies immediately, like anytime you get into any encounter, it's like, oh, it's not gonna go well. Sorry, Kenneth. It's so fun and goofy. And again, you know, the gameplay and the story, they're all standard Watchdog shit. It's like this nothing new. But I still enjoy it. It's still satisfying in that like clear out a base loop,
Sure.
look at the cameras and like figure out the best way in, whatever. But I truly think being able to just play as like whatever weird character you want to play has been really fun.
It's still, I think it's probably the thing that is keeping me curious about that game. Like if it were just like another Watch Dogs games, I think I would be completely off. But that part, I still want to see it in action.
Yes.
Do I want to pay the like entrance fee of like the $60 entrance fee to see that gimmick or to play that gimmick? Like I'm not sure I'm there yet, and I think I'm waiting for like. I think it went on sale already somewhere, but like I think
really,
I think
it was like
I might have.
It was definitely a bit of an impulse buy for me because I like ordered the disc for Spider-Man just right away, and I was like, this will be my game. I'll finish it, and then maybe I'll look into another one. And then I think I like had the PlayStation before I had the disc, and I was like, well, Watch Dogs is right there. And I did. It's fun. I like Watch Dogs. I don't know. I think it's a
if I wasn't
time.
playing 3 different open world games right now, I might have taken that plunge. But at some point, you just have to say there are too many open worlds, and this is the one I am deprioritizing.
Yeah, for sure.
What else, Abby?
So back to the VR world. I did get that VR Humble Bundle like last week, and the only game I've checked out in it so far is the Creed VR game, which is like the Rocky Creed franchise. Overall, I'd say it's not particularly good, but it is like a surprisingly good workout. Like I feel like I'm doing like the boxing shit where like you also do all this training stuff where you're like doing punching bags. It's like you got to punch a bunch, or like you got to like punch this thing that swings back and you got to like hit it every time and like dodge out of the way. And like I do it and I get very sweaty and I'm like sore the next day. Like it feels like a legitimate workout. They also do some weird things. Like honestly, the more VR I play, the more I'm like Mass Alex is a revelation. Or not Mass Alex. I mean, yes, Mass Alex.
Thank you very much. Finally,
Alex.
Somebody had said it.
Thank you.
Somebody had to say it. Thank you.
I always do that. And I'm talking to people and they're like, what the fuck is Mass Alex? Half-Life Alex is like it's so immersive and so well done on like every level. So like when I play something like Creed VR where like to traverse, it's like it's so weird. I think again, Half-Life Alex does a really good job of marrying like immersive, like I feel like I'm there VR stuff with like this is like technical and will just make you comfortable to play it, like you know, teleporting forward and just these like sort of ease, like just to make you comfortable. Whereas like some things really try to go all in on like the immersive aspect, like this Creed game. In order to move forward, you swing your arms and then like you like teleport forward, and it's incredibly nauseating. Every time I stop, like in real life, I'm like, oh, like it's not the best. And then like when you get knocked out, it like pulls you back into this like tunnel, and you have to like run forward to like get into your body again. But it is like kind of it's nauseating in a weird way. I'm still really enjoying it. But it's also another thing is like I can look down and see my whole body, but I'm like a super muscular dude. So like I look at my arms and they're like huge. I'm like, what the fuck? But it is fun. Creed VR. Yeah, again, it was in that Humble Bundle. I don't know if it was a thing I would have been like, cool for full price, but like bundle with a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, it's pretty good and like surprisingly a good workout. I also got the BTS DLC for Beat Saber. BTS is a K-pop band.
Okay.
And it's the only DLC that I was like, this is a band I've heard before. I mean, I've heard of some of the other ones, but there are a few BTS songs. I'm like, this is fun. I have friends who are into it. And it is super fun. It's fun to play Beat Saber with songs that are like real songs and not like the in-game songs.
The in-game songs are fine, but I think that, like you said, having cool licensed music for a game like that, I think is rad. Yes. And the in-game songs also, I feel like I'm repeating songs. Maybe it's just like me thinking they all sound the same, but it feels like I'm like repeating shit. So like having like fresh stuff that I kind of recognize too is like, oh, this is fun.
And finally, last thing I've been playing, I know this is a lot of shit, but The Sims had a new expansion, the Snowy Escape.
Yes.
And it's an expansion pack, the biggest pack.
The
Then
big
you got the
one.
game pack, then you got the stuff pack. This is the biggest one. You got the most shit in it. You got a whole new world, which is
Whoa.
both a vacation world and a livable world, which is pretty neat. You got a lot of cosmetic items, a lot of household items, and a lot of new gameplay elements.
Like?
So like you can go skiing and snowboarding, but the Snowy Escape is it is a game. It's clearly set in like Japan. It's very Japanese inspired. You have like all the characters that have like Japanese names. You have like all the furniture is very Japanese inspired, like sort of modern Japan. It kind of feels like, do you know the store like Muji, I think it's called?
Yeah.
Which has, it's like a lot of like, it's I think from Japan. Yeah, me too. But it's like sort of minimalist, very modern, but like sort of with like a touch of traditional in it, which is like really sleek. I like the look of it for The Sims. And you can live in these worlds, and they also have platforms now, which is very exciting. I think they came in a free update, but basically it's like you can have like split level shit in your house, which is very cool. A few good things I think they did an amazing job with on this pack. The biggest one being The Sims, notoriously, their expansion packs have like really bad builds in them. Like sometimes, like in one of them, like the houses they had, the preset houses, missing toilets, missing bathrooms. Key feature of the game. You got to have those, right? Okay. Another one in the Magic Pack, there's a stairway that there should be a door there. There's just no door. It's a stairway to nothing. Right. It's just like stuff like that. And even just like the regular packs are sometimes just kind of uninspired. They just like the starter houses just don't look very good. They aren't that interesting. They kind of feel like an afterthought, which is like fine. It's sort of notorious with the streamers of like, look at this fucked up thing. Let's like fix it. But they like, I assume they paid them and didn't just like give them credit or whatever, but they got streamers to build the houses for this one, all the starter houses. And they are like so good. They are all awesome. So good.
If they're compensated, yes, but yes.
I'm going to assume they are. I don't know the full details, but they are so well done. They look amazing, and they still feel like starter houses, just like the basic shit in them, but they just feel cohesive. They feel fun. They feel like real worlds, and they just feel really creative. And I think that was like such a nice, cool thing. And for it to work out so well and just have like, man, every lot looks really rad. It makes me excited to play the game. And it doesn't feel like, because I feel like oftentimes when you like start in a starter home in The Sims, it's like, well, I'm just going to delete everything and like rebuild it. Whereas this one, it's like I start in a starter home and like maybe I change a thing on the wall or change a shelf here and there, but like it was just really nice to see it. But they also have like skiing and snowboarding, which I find pretty fun. And they have like an onsen, which is like a Japanese bathhouse, which is pretty cool. I like the onsen stuff. I find the skiing and snowboarding, the main issue I have with it is The Sims 4 especially is not really designed for like open world stuff. It is much more of like you go to a lot, like you go to the bar, then you hang out at the bar, and then you can like kind of look at shit on the map and like occasionally walk over there, but it's not really good with that. So for this one, in order for me to go skiing, I have to go to the onsen, the bathhouse lot, and then I have to like zoom out and then like find the locations for skiing. But there's no way for me to just like from my Sims house be like, I want to go to the ski mountain, take me to the bunny slope. Okay. It was like really very difficult for me to figure out how to ski and like to find that stuff because it's not really intuitive and it's not clear where you're supposed to go.
Like
and then once you're there, it's like
you can't use your phone or something and be like, go skiing.
No, unfortunately not. Okay. Like you can use your phone and be like, have an event to do mountain climbing stuff. But even then it tells you to go to the like bathhouse. And then it's like, okay, now go bring 2 Sims to the start of this rock climbing thing. And I'm like, where the fuck is it? It was like a huge thing. I couldn't find it. Eventually I did when like the time was almost up. And then I realized like I didn't have enough climbing points anyway. But it was like, it's just one of those things that I'm like, I wish that they, I think they're sort of stuck with the limitations of what The Sims can do, but I wish that they somehow were able to make the ski slopes and everything like their own lot and made it a little clearer, like where to find the bunny slope, where to find the intermediate slope, where to find the high level black diamond or whatever, because it really was not intuitive in that way, which I find kind of a bummer because the skiing is like fun enough. I mean, it's just like another skill point. All in all, though, I really enjoy this pack. I think the aesthetics of it are great. I also just think it brings in some fun new gameplay stuff. And it's nice to have it just not be like another like American City simulator.
Sure.
So I think that's neat. Overall,
Snowy
big fan. Snowy Escape. Yeah.
Snowy's Escape. Get your
Snowy's Escape.
Get your Tintin now. Abby, anything else?
No. I mean, that was a lot.
That's
Thank you for
that's
just
a
letting
good
me
chunk.
talk on and on.
No,
Yeah.
well, speaking of a lot, look at this Gerson. Look at this Gerson. Look at this Bacalar guy. Look at this other Jeff. Jeff
I've been watching him just keep adding stuff
I
as we
know.
started. He
I've
had like
seen
2
this
things.
doc. It's just like, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff.
Well, we covered a lot of it already, so don't worry.
Okay,
All
kick
right.
it off, Bacalar. What you got going on this week?
You big whiny baby.
Yeah, that's me.
So I want to talk about Demon's Souls, but there were other PS5 things that I wanted to bring up real quick. Mahardy was telling me his PS5 was like shit in the bed.
Why would it shit his bed?
Well, that doesn't mean like the PS. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What
doesn't
happened?
mean-
What did he say? What happened? What's the story? What should I look out for?
There's
Is
just
mine broken?
there's just like crashing out.
Oh.
I only had mine actually crash once.
Hmm.
But and we probably should have discussed this when we had our whole storage debacle
Yeah.
conversation. But like,
Uh,
I think there's something up with USB drives and that console booting up. There's some, again, like this is just based off of my peers and my personal experience.
mm.
But there, and again, like I'm not, I don't have evidence that this is exactly causing the issue, just circumstantial stuff. But that's what I'm seeing, is that certain drives might be pissing this thing off. And it sounds like Gersman's having similar issues too. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know how that works out.
Interesting. Yeah.
I have my own unscientific presumptions about what might be causing this, but I'll keep them to myself.
Do you have an external drive hooked up to yours?
I did, not anymore. I'm just not
Mm.
doing it. I'm just not doing it right now.
Okay.
Kind of
okay.
just like, this ain't worth it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically crashing. It wasn't, so I wasn't having crashing, but what I was having was, and I was just hooking up like one of these Jimmy Jams that I can't.
What's
Yeah,
a-
these guys. It's
what's
attached, just like a Western Digital.
Oh,
like,
sure. Yeah.
port
Yeah.
drive or some
Yeah,
shit
one
like
of those
that.
little
One of those
guys.
regular dealy bobs.
One of those,
Yeah.
those little
And,
friends, those little guys.
Yeah, one of these bad
Yeah,
Larrys.
yeah, I
And,
have that same one. Yep. They go
yeah.
on sale once in a while.
Yeah, these are like $14 for 8 terabytes.
That's not
And
true at all, but sure.
They are cheap.
They're cheap.
Yeah. Reasonably.
And yeah, and I think it just doesn't like something with it. I would boot it up with this attached and would have to like rebuild the drive.
Yeah.
Or like repair it, whatever the hell that means. So after 11 times in a row of that thing happening, and
You just,
trying multiple drives
You
as
just
well,
stop playing PS4 games on it anymore.
I was like, you know what? I'll be really hyper selective with what legacy stuff I want to play right now. And I also have a PS4 Pro. So there's that. Let's get into a little bit of a conversation about
Oh, I like this. Yeah. Let's get real here.
about
It's getting
Demon
intense.
Souls.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Should I turn my chair
And-
I
around?
haven't played it, but I would like to.
So, I have not been quiet about my opinion about these games in the past, where like I'm just like, oh, I get it. I know Demon Souls is not everyone's cup of tea. It is not necessarily for everyone. I also think with that comes a little bit of the whole like, okay, I know you get it, and I know you like the brutality and the impossibility of this game, but like, don't make me feel like I should be somehow, closing my nose and drinking my medicine too,
Oh,
and just sort of.
boy.
Are you
like,
saying you
doing
don't
that.
like the culture around it?
No, I don't even know if that's the culture of it. Like, I
Well, I
just think
think
like, yeah, go
Sometimes
ahead.
those like ultra hard games can like breed a certain type of like fandom where it's like these are for real gamers, which I
Abby,
also
yeah.
find exhausting.
He doesn't know
Yeah.
how to play. He needs to get better.
So-
Jeff,
you
Jeff
gotta
is
get
saying,
good.
yeah, get good, Jeff. Like just learn how to play. It's all there.
So like,
Drink your gamer fuel, get good at the games,
Yeah,
all right?
Jeez.
If you're not good, it's because you're not dedicated, and only dedicated gamers can get into the Souls
is
franchise.
Gamer Fuel IPAs?
No, it's
Because
gasoline.
Gamer Fuels is piss.
well, I've been doing it wrong.
Gasoline and
It's
piss.
regional. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, like, this is probably the furthest I've ever made it outside of Bloodborne. I made legit progress in.
Hmm.
This game, again, I don't remember really playing the first one, the original, pretty much at all.
It's quite a while ago now.
And I did do Dark Souls a little bit. I just, I guess I feel a little bit out of like the loop. Like this game's making me feel like everyone knows something that I don't know.
I'm gonna
let
you in on the secret. I'm gonna let you in on the secret. Yeah, ready, Jeff?
Choose your timing. Choose your timing with this.
It's okay not to like this game.
No, but here's the thing. Here's where I deviate from someone who's just going to go on a diatribe about like this game should be easier, right? Like I'm not going to do that.
Okay, sure.
Okay?
Let's hope
because
not.
I've done that before, and I do think like maybe there should be a mode that's just like, well, this is not going to punish the shit out of you. Maybe we'll throw in a checkpoint here and there. Fine, whatever. It's not my call.
Okay,
I didn't make the game. It's not for me to say.
Well, I'm sorry. I retract my statement. Keep going. For the first time, this I've been able to see moments where I'm like, oh, see, you would like this game if you like had the time for it, if you had the ability to commit, if you had the bandwidth to invest, not just emotionally, but get that skilled. Oh, look, I could play this fucking game. I could beat these fuckers. Like, what is this? The 7 stages of like Demon Souls?
There's a lot going on.
Jeff
here.
is insecure and needs to let the world know that he could if he wanted to. Okay, he could if he wanted to. He just doesn't want to.
No, but that's the thing. I think I do.
Imagine in your mind a clock wipe where Jeff is in tears with a box of tissues, being like, "I love you, Demon Souls." I just
Jim asleep. Alex is gone.
You're like that
Vinny is
kid.
politely nodding.
You're like that kid at school. You're like that kid at school that sees like a footage of a guy breaking a board in like a movie, like a kung fu movie or something. You're like, oh, I did that before, but I don't need to do it now. I don't need to show you that I can do it. I saw that.
I don't know if that's what I'm doing, but I look like, here's the thing. Like, okay. I guess what I'm saying is I like what I'm playing of this game, but I have this complicated, relationship with it where it's like, it is supremely frustrating.
Yes.
And I want to play it, but sometimes it's like the game doesn't want me to play it. And I think that is where I have this like endless tug of war with this kind of thing. And I talk to people who like know the game very well, and it seems like they speak its language in a way that maybe I am just not familiar with. It's like I'm in a different country and I don't speak the native language, and it's just very, it's kind of frustrating. And that's all. Like I like this game, and then I'll see some like dude on Twitch who like beat it in one sitting, and I'm just like,
I think the key to these games is I do think there is some amount of like quote unquote skill for them, but I think you just need to like learn the specific mechanics of the game, and that's very hard to do because I think it's punishing up top. But at least in my experience with some of them, but I feel like once you do, like you get through it, and it feels like you're getting better. But I think you're just like learning the thing, which I think is kind of getting better. But yeah, you just gotta learn the tricks of it.
But maybe it's like that's never like laid out so clearly, right? Like people are just like, this game's relentless.
But that's also the thing.
Right.
Is that the games never lay anything out clearly. That's not really what they're for. People who want to poke and prod at every corner of those worlds to discover what they're supposed to discover. It just tells you nothing.
See, but that's the thing though, that like I think with that expectance from the player, there is a bit of like unpolish on it too in places, right? Where like, I don't know, it just it's a very difficult sort of like code to crack. And look, I realize I'm not like, I'm not breaking news here, but like I just find I have like my relationship with this is super weird.
I agree. I think it's okay if you don't like it, Jeff.
But I don't hate it.
You don't have to like it. I don't. Those games, more than any other games, are the games that I feel like I'm supposed to like because they are just fucking grim, dark, heavy metal shit applied over like hardcore action games. And like, I've just never taken to them. I never have. Even with Bloodborne, which I agree is a good game, is just not for me. And there's so many choices they make that I feel like I should be vibing with, but I just never have. And that's okay. I don't have to. Especially
stylistically, like these games are metal as fuck. And like, they should be you would think like a fish to water, we would be attracted to them, but I don't.
Just not for me.
Yeah, but
I mean, I
but
know
here,
for
but the thing
me-
with Demon Souls is like right now,
You're almost
when
there.
when I think about playing that system, I don't want to play Spider-Man. I want to play Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Then you're in it.
So figure that out.
Well, so I think
Figure that out. The tribunal of therapists.
I mean, I think for me, that game is like, I have a similar feeling of like, ooh, I want to play more, but I've never finished any of them because like, I don't care. It's like, I play enough to be like fun. Like I beat a few bosses, although Sekiro, I kind of got exhausted by in like not a good way, but I don't know. I think that's okay too, to like want to not feel good at it and then like play for a bit and not like become the best.
More
at
like
it.
a book report than it is like what's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like this is just how I'm feeling. This is therapy. So that's.
I think it's important to remember those games are actively working against you. Like it's like playing, it's like D&D with like a really bad DM. Like they're constantly putting stuff in your way to kill you, not to encourage you to go along. And I think that's also what makes it very rewarding, because it also feels like when you win, you got one up on a system that is stacked against you. So I think that's what makes, and also kind of maybe leads to some people being a little snotty about them, of like, oh, you know,
I don't mind that.
No,
like,
so I think there are points in that game where you know it is intentionally like trying to get you to stop playing this game, and you have to, and
especially other people who like leave you little notes too. They're like, don't go down there,
or like, dude, treasure down below, and then you walk in and it's like a big pit that kills you.
Yeah.
Don't go down there. I heard you suck at this game, Jeff Bacalar.
Also, you should be using the you should absolutely be using the summon stuff if you can. Summon other players into your world to help you out on bosses and things.
Oh, okay.
Is that not in Demon Souls? I get Dark Souls and Demon Souls really confused, but I'm pretty sure you can summon other players.
Is that a thing? There's not much of a tutorial.
How much have you played? Did you get the stones?
I played like 5 hours, and I've only just unlocked like the big first gate where you fight the phalanx, which is just like a mud monster.
Yeah. Right. With the pokey sticks.
Which seems like, you know, someone in kindergarten drew an enemy and they're like, let's use this.
That is Demon Souls. Keep playing. Do summons, like pull people in. I remember in Dark Souls, like I had a run there, like Dark Souls 1 or 2, and I was like, I'm not using summons. And then by like 3, I was like, let's just go. Everybody come in. We're just getting through this. I think as I was starting to like kind of lose wind. I don't even know if I ever even beat Dark Souls 3. I just started like, let's just beat this boss. Let's go summon everybody. Let's have a good time. All
right, I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
or I won't.
Oh, you won't. I think those games are rewarding, but in a way that is like a very steep learning curve, and that never kind of levels off. You're always trying to change it up. Also, I play those games, especially Demon Souls. I played those games in a way that was like, people would laugh at me the way I play those games, like just tanked up in heavy armor, just like, all right, bad. I'm just gonna sit here and mash a button.
I do feel like I picked the wrong class, but anyway,
pick the royal.
I picked the thief, and I feel like my character's not doing it for me. I don't know. So these are the official.
You're holding up something.
Controllers.
Yeah,
or
I'm
PlayStation
holding up,
headphones.
These are the PlayStation 5 headphones. They're called
I like what they look. They're sleek.
Yeah, they look really nice. They feel really nice.
Okay.
They sound really nice.
Wow.
But the chat is not great.
Is there no boom mic on it? Is it like a?
There's no boom. It's got a couple mics. It's
That's
got
how
like
the other ones were.
Yeah, but I feel like the chat performance on the other ones that you're thinking about, Abby, the gold one, right? The gold hits. I think that might, out of the gate might be better. Maybe I have to do some tweaking with some of this stuff. But like, I really want to love these, and the chat functionality and how everyone in my party told me it sounds like I'm talking from inside of someone's butt.
Oh, inside a butt. Wow, even your.
They're like, Jeff, why do you sound like you're inside a butt right now?
Why don't you?
That is how you play games.
And then did you unplug the USB and break it? Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a very sincere question for you, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah.
Were they on backwards?
No.
Are you sure?
Were they?
Yeah, there's a little L and a little R.
Were they on your butt?
Okay.
Were they in my butt?
Were you up a butt?
Yeah,
when
were you up a butt
them?
when you were wearing them?
No.
Whose butt were you up?
Okay, you can tell us. It's okay.
It's Okay.
Look,
you
I'd
already
be
had
the
your
first-
therapy session. What's
I'd be the first to admit if this was an up butt situation.
This was not up a butt.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. You know, I don't know. I really want to like them. They're $100, and you know, that's just a lot of money for one that is going to only work on one console. I've been using those Astro A20s, and I
Yeah.
still really like them.
Okay.
And they have like, and the voice and the controls and the volume and and lifting the boom to mute, all that stuff is really nice.
Oh, that's a cool. I didn't know they did that. That's
That
a
is
neat. That's a
nice.
neat
Yeah,
idea.
on here you just get like a freaking carousel of.
I know that's
you
how the
know,
last ones
settings.
were, and every time I'm like hitting buttons, and then I'm like, I just gotta pull them off and like beep 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 beep, and then put
Fishing
them back
around
on.
like some lunatic, and I,
Interesting.
you know. Anyway,
I didn't know they
yeah,
made an
I don't-
official new one. They look like the
They
wheels.
did.
They look like casters for some like a robot. You know.
yeah, this is just like Astrobot's headset.
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. Really.
Do you
is.
know if my headphones, my old ones, will work on my PlayStation 5?
That's a good question. I'm gonna say they
Try.
will. Here's the thing.
Will it
you know,
stop it coming out of my controller?
I don't know. Sony talks a lot about their like 3D audio shit, right? And I
Yeah.
feel like there's no real good way to convey that experience to people without having them do it. And I'll say this, I do think the 3D, you would imagine like Sony's headset does
Right.
the best,
Make
does a
use of
good
this.
job at the 3D shit. And that's what I'm noticing too, is that this does on a surface level kind of feel better than the A20s for the 3D sound
Hmm.
stuff, which is important to me, especially when you're playing
Yeah,
Demon Souls with the lights off at midnight.
In a butt, up a butt.
In a butt, inside
inside a
just a butt. Just a
The
huge
next time
butt.
someone says you sound like you're inside of a butt, Jeff, just tell them, how do you know what that sounds like?
Oh, that's
Ah.
okay.
Touche.
Touche.
There you
Mhm.
go.
That's right.
And when they
Right.
say, and then when they turn back and they say, "Yeah, I eat ass," what of it? And you're defeated. You
Well,
can't
that-
actually say anything to that at that point. It's just
Yeah,
like,
cross
well,
that bridge when we get there.
I think they'd
Yeah.
say. I think the hard part would be like, wait, what'd you say? I can't actually hear you. How would you know what that sounds like? Is Jeff talking? I can't.
Right.
Is he
It's the
talking
whole
again?
like you eat pieces of shit for breakfast thing. Right. Like,
Is he talking? I can't hear. Is the butt man talking? Is the up a butt
Yeah.
Jeff? Okay, I can't really hear you. Can you type it? Maybe the joke's funnier if you type it. So yeah, those headphones. I went to go look for accessories. Are they available? Even those headphones. The charging stand for the controllers was not available. Seems like that is sold out everywhere.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I
You
can't
don't
help
know.
you there.
You
I-
don't know. I got a third party one.
I've
Let's hope
said-
it doesn't turn my. Like,
I've just said I can't help you there to so many people the last couple weeks who have been like, can you get me a PS5?
Can you get me a charging stand for these controllers and get my 6-year-old's account on band?
I just opened my closet that has like 30 of each console, and I'm like, what are you looking for? Small, medium, large?
That's
Like,
right.
what do you-
Disc, no disc.
What do you fucking want here? Because I got it for you.
Yes.
And
what
then I
else?
also got this in the mail today.
We gotta talk. You
The-
gotta
The,
say.
the
All
Nintendo
are
Game and Watch, which I
It
don't.
They're like Game Boy Advance Micro.
Right. I literally just took it out of the packaging before we got on here. I'm curious to see what this is. Apparently, the whole original Super Mario Brothers is on here, right?
mhm.
Okay.
Do you know anything more?
I
about
know
this?
nothing about
No.
this. I mean, I knew what Game
Not
and
a thing.
Watch was at a
I
time.
that looks like a Christmas gimmick item.
Are they just
Right.
are they just using Game and Watch now to call a new thing Game and Watch?
I
guess.
think I'm not gonna read this thing that came with it, but I guess it's just like celebrating the 1980 original device that had a Game and Watch ball. Isn't that ball in whatchamacallit? Super Smash? Can't you like fight as the ball?
Probably.
Game and Watch is the little like he changes
Yeah.
into a bunch of stuff.
Apparently people are like freaking out about this. I had heard about it, but I didn't really know much about it. But
Wow.
I'll play with it a little bit and let you know about it next
You're
week.
gonna open it, just keep it sealed, put it in a corner, and then think it's gonna accrue in value.
Okay. I'll do that instead.
I don't know. Is that a thing that people can buy now too, or did it sell out? And
I believe it's on sale now. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I don't know the stock situation with it, but
I think I'm just jaded. Everything sells out now. You can't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, but nothing. How am I supposed to live my consumer life if I can't actually buy anything?
you can get a 3080. No, you can't.
No.
Can
No,
you?
no, you can't.
No,
No,
you can't. Sorry,
Okay.
3070? Can you get a 3070?
Yeah, maybe me. It's closer, more likely, but no, probably not.
I'm sorry, you can't.
So wait, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to actually snarkle over your Game & Watch thing. What do you actually play on it?
You
Super
could
Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers, yeah,
That's it.
and then like
Finally, I think you can play Super Mario Brothers on.
I know, and then the Lost Levels. Check it out.
Okay.
They play the
Oh
Lost
yeah,
levels.
no,
on
I've been
that too.
watching someone play the
Yeah.
Lost Levels. I don't want to fucking do
I'm
that.
good.
I don't want to fucking do that.
Why they're hard?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Seemed like a nightmare.
It's the Demon Souls
Sadistic.
of Mario.
yeah.
And then there's also a clock. It's a clock too.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. I
Yeah,
don't have one of those.
that is the watch part.
Right. Cool. All right. People are stoked about it. I don't know.
Hey, listen,
know.
if it's not sold out, it ain't good. That's my 2 cents. If I could still buy it, then what am I even doing?
Yeah.
What's the point?
What's the point? That's right. If I didn't have to like wait online and refresh something or pre-order or go to a conference or a special site, then like obviously it's not that good. Did you have to get an app to buy it? Please, whatever. Come back to me.
People I don't know how true this is, but people say if you're trying to buy a new console, the going through the app is better than going to the website.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I think it also has to do with like already being logged into your credentials.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're not like stuck in the cart trying to put in your info while other people are like buying in front of you.
That used to
I
be a
don't- I
thing
don't
for
know
iPhones or Apple products, like using the Apple app. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I don't know if all the people I know are just incompetent, but like I only know one person who has successfully, outside of like my my game industry people, but like one person who has bought a PS5, like been able to purchase.
It's
a
really
PS5.
hard. They're super in demand and very out of stock.
I know someone who spent $1,200 on one
Why?
Wait,
because they're insane.
like raw, like without accessories, not in a bundle?
Raw.
Yeah, like did it come with like 2
How
controllers?
is this PS5 cooked?
Raw.
Red and black and blue.
No, you know what I mean. Like, did it come with like, oh, you buy this thing and you get the Nyko supercharger? It comes with the TV.
Oh my
and,
God,
we'll
Nyko.
put it in the back of a Ford.
Raw.
I don't know. I don't know if they got a raw PS5.
All right, it's good to know. All right, that's a lot, and I feel like
It was not raw. It was just uncooked. That's what it was.
As much as I get why people would want and have money, do whatever you want with their money. I just encouraging that behavior. I don't love. I mean, there's a secondhand market, but you know.
I would love to see like percentages of like what the ratio is of like genuine purchasers to flippers, because
I know
there are so many of them for sale
I know
on third party, on the
secondary.
eBays.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, holy shit.
I've just seen it in so many other places. You've seen it too because you're doing like the keyboard stuff, and anybody who's in a niche thing, and I didn't think this was that niche. That when people just buy up lots of stuff to just flip them. How could it not make you angry, right? I mean, maybe that's just capitalism, but man, being on the losing end of capitalism, coming from Caravella here, kind of sucks.
But I also think the levels of anger, sometimes you'll get it eventually, right?
Yeah, it is a temporary situation.
What if you can't?
This is.
What if they're just like? What if it's just like we're done with PS5s? It was a good
like
run.
They just closed the store and they're like, and we're done.
It just Sony's like, yeah, on second thought, it is a kind of dumb looking machine. We're just done. Yeah.
I don't know. Man, like you see some of those eBay listings where like some prick has like 10 of each, and you're just like, what the fuck?
There was some guy who posted on Twitter that had something like 20 PS5s all laid out, and he was like, fuck them, don't care, man, whatever, 1,100 a piece, come get them. And it's just like, there's no...
Yeah.
I don't believe in justice in this universe. I don't think this universe is interested in justice, but if it wants to prove me wrong and it wants to show me that there is actually justice in this life, that guy is going to be begging to sell those things for like $400 soon. That's what I hope. It won't happen, but that's what I want.
It's the hand sanitizer of consoles. It's a stacks of them. Yeah, I don't know. It's that's how the guy got him. Did what he did, unless he cheated and got him. Now he's selling them for a lot of money, and
just don't reward that. Don't reward it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Other people's money. Do what you want with it. Just don't do that. do something else. All right. Do you have anything else?
I think I'm good here.
Are we finally going to take a break?
Because I gotta piss
Yeah.
so bad.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
take a
Like this is where the podcast ends usually.
yeah, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back for a very quick. No, the news section is pretty short, so we're gonna come back for some quick news and then some quick emails and wrap this thing up. But stay tuned. We're gonna take a quick break, 5 minutes or so. If you're watching this live, and come back. We'll be back soon. Here we go. Ooh, that was just a come right in there. Hey, everybody, we're back. And we're gonna get to the news. I did forget to mention though, and I apologize to Matt, Rory, and Dave in Alaska. The sale going on. You can get the merch stuff in the store. 20% off that tracksuit, I believe, if it's not sold out, is in there. There's
Got to get me one of those.
There's a special Christmas ornament if you're decorating the house or a tree or whatever you want to do with that. Has a very lovely design on it. Yeah.
Is that for real? That wasn't like a joke?
No, that's for real.
Well, I mean, it's real. It's not a joke in that they made the product.
Yeah.
Can you get any Giant Bomb player
Nope.
on there?
No.
Nope.
That is
Just
a,
me.
Just Alex.
One particular photo of me.
That's will be forever celebrating the
Worst
holidays.
photo I have ever taken, and I'm
Stop
including
it.
some really choice
It
elementary
is.
school class photos on top of that.
It
So
is. Give me 100 of them and just one whole tree. That's my Alex
I
tree.
want one. Can I have one parting gift?
Yes, that's right. We said we got to order 1,000 of them and then fill up a room with them.
Whose idea was that? Was that in Alaska?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I can tell you it wasn't mine.
He's a business Dave.
Fucking Alaska. Love it.
He pulls
I
all
had
the.
an agreement. I had an agreement with Dave in Alaska that he could do the ornament as long as that was not the first piece of merchandise on the store to feature my face. And I think that was what ultimately bore out of the Halloween shirt, the Junji Ito one.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, he slow played the shit out of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were talking about that last year, and I said that can't be the first thing we sell with my face. That is the only rule I have for this.
Good for him, man.
Business Dave, yeah, he's a patient man. He's got all the levers. So there's a sale going on. If you missed it from the earlier sale this year, this is the second one we're having this year. And I'm gonna say this: you get all the back catalog for all the years of Giant Bomb, which means there's never been a better time to subscribe because you got everything that came before previously. So the value proposition there, boy, untold.
Tens of thousands of hours.
You mean everything you guys have ever recorded
that we have put
just
on
gets
that we
unlocked.
have put on the site
just gets unlocked?
All of it, Jeff.
Everything that you could find on the site that is available to be watched for a premium subscription, you could watch if you have a
How do you
premium
do that?
How do you even engineers
do
have
that?
worked engineers have worked magic behind the scenes to do that.
Man,
I know.
What are we gonna come up with next?
That's a great question, and you can only find out if it's premium. You'll only be able to watch it if you got that subscription. So who knows? Big question marks for me. I don't know. So yeah, check that out on the site and go get your merch. Now let's move in to the news. Pretty light news this week. I'm gonna start off with just as soon as I find my mouse cursor. Start off with a couple of things I dropped in here. A couple of big fast hits like Deathloop getting a release date for the PS5 and the PC, which is May 21st, I believe. Let me pull up the story here. May 21st. So that game still looks interesting to me. I'm still interested in it. They stated some,
and it's still coming to PlayStation platforms despite the whole Bethesda thing.
Yep, and that is they're saying some COVID-related development issues for the timetable on that. So I want to play that game. It's
yeah, me too.
Yep.
Another fun little bit of news here, a quick one. I don't know if you guys probably remember this, but in case you don't, when Star Wars Squadrons came out, the thing I wanted was the B-Wing. the B-Wing will be coming to Star Wars Squadrons. Everybody knows the classic.
Okay. They heard your cries.
Yeah, they heard me
Of
crying.
This.
Sorry,
Yep.
sorry, you cut out, Abby. I'm sure you were like, I assume you screamed B-Wing, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's always talking about that B-Wing.
Yeah.
That'll be coming in a December update. The B-Wing, very cool. And also, you'll be getting a TIE Defender if you're playing as the Empire to match them there. So those two quick hits. Alex, what have you got? Oh, no, there was one more I had.
There's one more in there.
Yeah, which I'm not sure. This is kind of happening real time, so I don't know too much about it, but just fair warning, Abby.
Oh no.
Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Some people are reporting save corruption on their PS5 and Series X. It's
If
not.
I lose Susie and Kenneth, I'll sue.
Okay, that's a good option. I think or make a petition or something. I don't know what you do.
Oh, I'm taking it to the courts.
Hey,
Yeah.
Has anybody played Godfall?
Yeah,
No.
I did actually. I played it. I didn't even put it in. I forgot to put it in here, but I played it with Jason for a little bit. We tested out the multiplayer.
Oh, no
and stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
I downloaded it. Like, I should join that. And then after downloaded, I forgot about it immediately.
I
You'll
did.
remember it again when you need to clear some space off your hard drive.
Well, I played it on the PC, and it was very much like what I had seen Jeff Gerstmann play of it. But I don't know if I would be jumping back into it. But I wanted to try the multiplayer, and I don't think I was that blown away by it. Godfall.
Okay. Again, what is it?
Godfall. It's
The loot game.
yeah. It's kind of like you go into these. Oh boy. All right.
Never mind.
We already did the game talk. We can't go back.
It's an,
Yeah, I know, but like,
3 hours.
It has like
fine.
aspects of like Warframe in it, or it feels like it's the Destiny-ish. Like you get different suits that have different powers. You're unlocking those by kind of going through. Okay.
right,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
thank
Okay.
you.
Anyway, corruption. Heads up. Look, this. I don't know if this is going to be a thing or not. Ubisoft says they have acknowledged that they are going to look into this. The developers are looking into this. Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legions corrupted saves on PlayStation 5 and Series X. Reading through the problems and articles, I couldn't find a thing that was necessarily like, hey, avoid doing this. Seems to range.
Avoid saving.
And never save your game from manual saves, or if you're playing in permadeath, which I know, Abby, you said you did, stuff like that could affect it. But again, ongoing. Just a heads up and be aware. All right, Alex, what do we got?
These are just a couple quick hits here. So today, this was announced. So IO Interactive obviously is still planning on releasing Hitman 3 in January of next year. But they have another project in the works. Apparently, they are making a 007 James Bond game.
If James Bond can't assassinate somebody by throwing a fire extinguisher across a room, then I will be very bummed out, just like the movies.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, look, so they're talking about this as an origin story for Bond, which, much like origin stories for Batman, I could not possibly care less at this point. But nonetheless, Hitman, like they have a great pedigree with the Hitman series. I think if this was done in a way where it's a lot of like early Bond missions where like he's going into different supervillains' lairs and having to figure out how to do Bond shit while also getting into gunfights and using gadgets, that's cool as hell. I just don't really need a like deep Bond narrative at this point, because who has time for that in their life at this point? But like, hey, it's cool they're getting to do this. Like, and apparently they are also self-publishing this title, so that's neat.
Do we know any other details about this? Like, what kind of game it's going to be? Okay,
Not yet.
It's like I don't know.
Does he have an origin?
They tried to
thought he
do
was
some
always-
Didn't they try to do?
I think
some
he
of
has
that?
multiple origins.
Like-
Well,
I think
so
he's-
like the movies where they are now, the Daniel Craig stuff was supposed to be like a reboot origin over the course of those movies, and they kind of were. Like they where they ended up at the end of Skyfall was kind of like locking into a narrative place where the early Bond movies kind of were with the characters and all that stuff. But also, it clearly takes place in modern day. There have clearly been multiple people playing James Bond, so the actual lineage of all of this stuff, I think, is fairly fluid.
Yeah, I mean, I realized he wasn't just like born with a gun in his hand, and just like I'm fucking James Bond. But like,
How do you know?
I didn't really know yet.
I mean, that's what Agent 47 was.
It's true.
So they could do that. That could be the origin.
That'd be a weird take on James Bond, but
Throwing him in a vat.
What if it?
Yeah, like
what if his origin
just a
story
battery?
is just
Yeah.
Agent 47 pretending to be James Bond, and then that's how they pull it off. Like I think that what makes me a little concerned, because when we talk about this, it's hard not to talk about Hitman, right? This could be nothing like Hitman if we don't know enough about it, but also I enjoy Hitman the most when it's at its most absurd. And with a licensed game, sometimes that gets a little tricky. They don't want you to be goofing on their properties. They don't want you to have too much fun with it. So I mean, I'm right. Like
that's in the contract. Yeah.
I mean, that's also the kind of the tone of Bond right now, is that it never seems entirely sure how much fun they still want to be having with that franchise, because sometimes there's some real like nudge and wink stuff in there, but a lot of it, like especially a lot of the Daniel Craig series, has been just bordering on deathly serious. And I think that if they can find the fun in there and they can find the goof, I will be on board.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
It's funny because like, say what you will about those Mission Impossible movies, and I know they're not the same thing, but they're the same thing. They do a good job of making it kind of goofy, right? Like those are like that last Mission Impossible was fucking fun to watch.
Yeah. And like they do their super serious, like the world is going to end plot lines, but they just jam it into the margins between the 17 different stunts that Tom Cruise wants to do to prove that he's still cool.
Right. I mean, like, oh, Tom, you broke every bone in your torso. Now what? It's like, all right, well, look.
Xenu will protect me.
Hey, did we make our box office back? Then it was worth it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
right. Like you'll never walk straight again, but hey.
Doesn't matter.
I could lift this 747 over my head. I swear.
I do love. I guess with you're right. I think Bond stuff does have a tough time, like figuring out what it wants to be. But like they're beautiful movies. I mean, Skyfall is unbelievable looking.
No, I think Skyfall and Casino Royale are genuinely good movies. Quantum of Solace and the other one, not as much.
The other one.
The Spectre, that's it. Those were bad, like genuinely just bad, borderline unwatchable movies. But that 2 out of 4, especially considering the general batting average for most Bonds, is actually 500's not that bad.
Yeah,
yeah. Like I worry if you try to do 60s Bond, and try to have
they did
fun,
that.
If you try to have fun for the game and try to do like like what back when the series was probably at its goofiest. You just wind up with what was that game? Was it No One Lives Forever?
Well, they did From Russia with Love. Remember, they did this EA straight up made a From Russia with Love game.
I do not remember that. Holy cow! Was that Was it forgettable? Was it first person shooter?
It was a third person shooter, and it was fine, but it wasn't great.
Okay. You think I was gonna make a first person shooter?
I don't think so. I bet this is a third person game, because you look at their other non-Hitman titles. It's what is it? Freedom Force and it's Kane and Lynch. Like they have always kind of stuck to third person in just about everything they do. I mean, they could do it, but it's not to me what you would go to IO for.
Curious. Curious to see what happens here. Hopefully they make a good Bond game. And we'll see what that is. I don't even know what that white paper looks like for a good Bond game at that point. Maybe they make that.
Totally.
Maybe they do their what's their puzzle series that they made with all the
the Go games.
Yeah, maybe it's just Bond Go.
That was the Go franchise is owned by Square Enix specifically, and I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to do anything with that anymore.
Fair enough. Okay, that's right, because they made like the Tomb Raider style ones, right?
Yes.
Okay. What else we got, Alex?
One last thing here, just a quick hit for everyone. Folks, it is Oscars of video games time. The Game Awards, the Oscars, the literal Oscars for literal video games. They're happening again. And, as always, the nominees are expected for the most part. I think if you go in there, they added a whole bunch of esports categories this year for specific, best esports performance, best esports coach, like a whole bunch of stuff in there that seems like they really want to try and get some of those esports dollars, which I get it. That's a lot of dollars.
Yeah.
just kind of want to touch briefly here on the Game of the Year category, because it's not that I really take great umbrage with most of these picks. I kind of see how they at least get here,
Okay.
if not necessarily agreeing with them.
I'm loading this
So
up. Let's see.
The six games they've nominated are The Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Hades,
Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima, which marginal, but I see how you get there, even if I don't agree with it.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Okay.
and Doom Eternal?
Okay.
Like, Doom Eternal?
I feel like they just
You
were
read
like,
that right?
these are big games that people talked about this year, so put them on a list.
Yeah. But, like, these are ostensibly, I think, nominated by the cabal of games press that vote on these things. And I'm legitimately scratching my head trying to think of enough journalists and critics I've known over the course of this year that have said nice things about Doom Eternal to get it into that space. And I can't think of more than a couple, really.
I think that is the standout oddity.
Doom Eternal?
And it's not a
Ghost of
horrible
Tsushima.
game.
No, I like it. You know what, Abby? I'm with you too on Ghost of Tsushima too.
People
Yeah.
were like, I
sure.
did not hear anything that wasn't better than like, it was fine. It wasted my time enough until the next thing came out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't get that one either. Yeah.
But it's a big Sony first-party project, which I'm not saying that's the reason it got picked, but I can understand how enough people would gravitate toward it. Doom Eternal, like, it's just so, like, it didn't seem to really resonate with hardly anyone.
All right, Alex. Here we go. What do you slot in for Doom Eternal? They were started. Kick it off.
Well, there are some games I still need to finish.
Okay. Spiritfarer, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then in the spot of Ghost of Tsushima, Half-Life Alex.
Okay.
Which no one else is
I'm
playing.
genuinely shocked that Alex isn't in that category.
Me too. I think it's because
almost-
so few people have VR, especially in this year when people are all at home.
Yeah, I mean, Alex did get nominated for some stuff like audio categories,
it's in the VR category.
It's in the VR category, but
So what you just read was Game of the Year, right?
yeah, it's Game of the Year.
I feel like Hades is a shoe-in for that list.
I feel like Hades is going to win almost every category it's in.
I wonder.
Is Hades that good? I can't get into it.
I'm not saying that it deserves to win every single category. I'm saying that just based on the way people talk about these games and what I expect the voters who vote on these things to do, I think it will probably win every single category.
I could see Last of Us Part 2 taking the Game of the Year in that category there. But
out of those games, I'd be happy with that outcome, I think.
Yeah, I didn't love Last of Us 2, but also I feel like
I'm not saying
get
it would be my Game of the Year. I'm saying,
I don't know, Vinny.
this
Sounds like that's you keep talking about how much you love Last of Us 2. It's your Game of the Year.
This is basically
it's your favorite VR
my
game.
order. Last of Us Part 2,
Favorite mobile game.
Animal Crossing, Hades, just go Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then Doom. That's my top 5. I mean, we could also just skip it this year too. We could just fucking not do it.
That's a fun idea. I mean, that's kind of what I chose to do.
Yeah. Look at the lengths at which you.
I think, man, Hades just. It's the same.
It's in like 8
It's the
categories.
same 3 games in every category.
There's a really funny one on here, which is that Logan got nominated for voice performance, and it was specifically for Hades. And I love that they had to pick a character because he voices like 8 characters in that game. And it's like Hades is good. It's one of the more memorable characters, but it's just like they had to assign one performance to his category. So it's like, I don't know, Dad. Here you go.
Wait, for real though, like it's the same games in every category. I'm not joking.
A lot of them.
Yeah,
it really
it's
is.
a lot of them.
It's Hades and Last of Us Part 2 and Final Fantasy VII, and so that's you said that for best Game of the Year, then best game direction, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and Last of Us Part 2. Oops, I broke the site. Hold on. And then
It's almost as if
then
these kinds of awards don't matter.
and then
and also maybe they don't necessarily branch out far enough from the accepted mainstream to actually comment on the state of the industry in any meaningful way.
And then best narrative has Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, The Last of Us Part 2. Best art direction, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, The Last of Us Part 2. Best score in music: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, The Last of Us Part 2. This is
it's fucking funny to look at that.
The 5 games that came out this year.
And it's like, I get it. Like, some of the big stuff that came out this year, people did not have a chance to play probably in time for the voting. But at the same time, there are categories where like stuff like Legion and Valhalla and other games that have come out recently are kind of slotted in. So it's not like, I don't know. And I'm not saying those games need to be in there, but it's just, I don't know. Like, I know this wasn't like a huge year in terms of like there being a million games that everyone loved, but it just feels more sparse than it should.
It does, and I haven't put too much.
Well, don't forget, like you know, who knows if like Cyberpunk would have been on that list somewhere too.
I assume it'll get the same thing that like Jedi Fallen Order did, which was it'll be on next year's nominees list.
And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll get to the indie stuff. This is where it'll change up. So we got Carrion, Fall Guys. I was like, okay, they're just up. Spelunky 2. Spiritfarer, and Hades.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, why did you even have the other nominees? If Hades is in every other category, including Game of the Year, and it somehow doesn't win Best Indie, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, I don't want to, like, doing these things is tough. We've done them a lot. It's it's tough having an indie category at all, or trying to separate
this year,
these things.
like Alex said, this year feels a little weird.
I will say once again, the best category in terms of like how the fuck are you putting all these things together is the best sim strategy category, which is Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, XCOM Chimera Squad, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like one of these things, not like the others.
Oh man, that's I guess once you
Anyway.
once you start getting down, which is a real, maybe a shame for the state of AAA right now. Like once you start getting down into the category games, they are different, but at the overall top of the list, it is the same 5 games over and over again. Which is categories. Just another just another content note. We will be closer and closer to just finalizing having our Game of the Year stuff in January. After we are on the other side of all of this stuff with moving around and having more time to play the games, it just started to make more and more sense. So that is
yes,
we have all but officially kind of internally declared that, or at least in 2021, I should say, having that stuff. All right, I think that's kind of it for the news, though. So
cool.
Yeah, we'll take a very quick break here, just long enough for me to find it when I have to cut it out later, and we'll be right back to wrap up with some emails, so stick around.
All right,
here we go. Oops, stick around.
Still sticking.
Stick around, don't move.
Got nowhere to go.
Stick around, here we go.
Around.
Do you remember when Jeff made fun of my little scarf?
Stick around, here we go.
That didn't happen.
Why are you laughing?
Okay, and we are back, folks. Emails. If you have an email, send it to beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. Abby Russell, what do we have in the email bag today?
Jeff, will you please read this one about Beyblades from John? I don't really know what Beyblades are, so that's why I picked this one.
I also do not know what they are.
What?
Fantastic.
Okay, well, it's for Vinny
help
then.
me, Beastcast. You're my only hope. I'm thinking of getting my kids some Beyblades for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I could use some recommendations on what to look for / avoid. I assume Vinny and Jeff, you are not right. We have the most experience. What the fuck is a Beyblade?
So
What is a Beyblade? I don't
The
remember.
child toy. It's like you rip it open like it's like a top, but you gotta like tear a thing off like you're starting a lawnmower.
3, 2, 1,
Okay.
let them rip.
And then they like fight each other, right?
Yeah, they're spinning
I
tops.
don't know why I
These
know
are
so much about
old.
Beyblades.
These are old as hell.
Yeah,
Then you should know about it, old man.
they've been around. I think my
Dude,
kids are playing Beyblades currently right now.
Dude, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
These things were around when we were kids.
Okay. What does that make it bad or good?
No, it just makes These are just facts. I don't know.
So
You know
here's
what was the hottest toy when I was a kid? Mighty Beans. They were
Okay.
collectibles.
Mighty
How about
Beans.
They're
those,
really rare
how about
ones.
those finger
Mighty
skateboards.
Beans.
What are those called?
Oh, those are
Fuck
pretty cool.
Deck,
Yeah, I
tech
don't know what they're
decks?
called, but
Okay, so here's what John. Here's what I'll give it to you quick. Okay, you can go on eBay. You can try and find older Beyblades. If your kid has like a specific Beyblade, that's what I have to do sometimes to try and find them on again that secondary market. Try not to pay too much for those Beyblades. In talking to one Rich Gallup,
Can you not just get them?
they make new ones, but there are specific ones that like if your kid is like,
Gotcha.
I need to have this Diablos or this Bloody Luminor or whatever it is. And I was talking to one Rich Gallup, and I was like, man, we got the Metal Fusion ones, and they just destroy every Beyblade. And he's like, oh, you can't get those. Once you get the Metal Fusion ones, they only want to fight against Metal Fusion ones. So I would say stick to either the Burst or the plastic ones, and don't go into the Metal Fusion ones unless you want to just not be able to use any other ones but the Metal Fusion ones. Maybe get a stadium and a couple of launchers and have a good time. I watch out for counterfeits. There's a ton of counterfeit Beyblades out there. I don't know if it makes a difference how old your kid is. It may not make a difference, and counterfeit's fine. But there are like Amazon will even have a ton of just counterfeit Beyblades, and that's what I got.
I gotta keep my kid away from this shit.
There's a cartoon. Here's another tip. There's a cartoon, and then sometimes we'll call the Beyblade something different than the actual toy. So, like any good children's cartoon, it's trying to sell your kids the toy. And then if you're looking for that, there's sometimes different names for what the Beyblade is called. So you have to be aware of that, and sometimes that can be hard to discover. Like we were doing a search and we couldn't find it. It was called something else, but it was called something in the cartoon and a different toy. All right, that's it for the Beyblades.
okay, moving right along. Alex, will you read this one from Vincent?
Sure thing. Vincent says, hello, Beastcast. If feasibility and economics were not a factor, which developer or studio would be your pick to make a big VR game a la Valve with Half-Life Alyx? Who could push the medium forward the most? Personally, I'd love to see what Kojima would do.
It's a good question.
Yeah, because I feel like other than Respawn and obviously Valve with Half-Life Alyx, I feel like most of like the major traditional game studios have not necessarily gotten into VR in a severe way. It's been a lot of like, we're trying some stuff, but not really full-throated support.
I think I would love to see like a Naughty Dog's VR game. Not necessarily their gameplay wise, but they usually have pretty good stories. Last of Us 2 aside. So I feel like, that's kind of what I think I would be interested in with like something that they came up with. It's like a really good story that I feel invested in, and also the gameplay is solid.
Sure. I'd like to see Ninja Theory do a VR. That'd be cool.
Sure.
That'd be cool. Sure.
I don't know about the developer, but I wouldn't. I don't have VR, but I think that Outer Wilds in VR it could be cool. I may just really like that game a lot.
I mean, that would be very cool. It would be hard to not make it very nauseating, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. And not having played a ton of VR, I don't know don't do that of VR. That could be neat. I think Kojima would probably try to be interesting because I think as a developer likes to test the boundaries of things, whether they work or not, and that could be interesting in adding fun new things. I think Nintendo as a publisher would probably do a really good job. It would miss the mark on 4 out of 5 of the things, and the one they hit right would then be in every VR game. Would like be like, oh, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. This thing is now the way we move in VR, which could be interesting. I'd probably Nintendo, like a genuine internal Nintendo one. I think would be a very solid VR experience.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work mechanically, but like the one, and I think there are other studios that would probably do something more buck wild than what I'm imagining here. But I would, given the way that the Yakuza games are designed as like these, sort of like neighborhood simulations where you're just kind of walking around a more confined space compared to other open worlds. I would kind of love to see what they would do, like a more immersive version of like Kamurocho or something like that, where you can just, walk around, experience all the businesses. Doing combat might be tough because combat in VR always a little dicey depending on what kind of game you're making. But I don't know, like just something along those lines, like just some kind of story, some kind of experience within a familiar space like that would be very cool to me.
All right, Abby, let's do one more and then we're gonna wrap up, I think.
Okay, Vinny.
Yes.
Jeff read one to you. Now you get to read one to Jeff. Please read this one from M.
Okay, let me find this
Should be
one.
up at the top.
From scrolling back up. From M. The new consoles are making me antsy to finally jump into 4,000 4K. The jump from last year's, I'll just say 4,000 from now on.
Jeff, are you okay? You look so like, oh, here we
Is
go.
you ready for this one, Jeff?
One of these
Okay.
again.
I'm happy to talk about it. Let's do it.
Could you
Okay.
describe how 4K works from a circuit board perspective? Thanks for your no. The jump from last year's LG OLED to this year's seems small. Do you think TVs next year will be a lot more advanced, and that I would be kicking myself for buying a high-ish end TV this year? I could time myself over buying a relatively cheaper Sony X900H in the meantime. Thanks, M. From Australia.
Well, here's the thing, right? This year, I'm not sure if this year is the first year that they introduced. I don't think it's the first year they introduced compatibility with HDMI 2.1. I think it's the most sort of like universal rollout of it, meaning like it's on every port, meaning, all the HDMI ports. I think the C9, which was the previous year
Of the LG
of the LG OLEDs, got support for that midway through a software update. So that's sort of like the thing. Now, where can they go from? I mean, and I think maybe I think this new one is maybe newly compatible with G-Sync. But again, like, I don't think the year over year sort of difference has been that crazy. They both, I know, do have variable refresh rates
and support it, so
as,
they do support it. Because I know
Yeah,
even having a 2.1 spec on your HDMI doesn't necessarily mean you inherit or it's enabled with all the features.
Right. And the C9 does have NVIDIA G-Sync.
Okay.
So, I'm actually just looking at like a side by side.
I know
right
this
now.
is a tough question to just like to have this knowledge in your head and spring on you. You're not
and
a
from
TV
and
editor.
this side by side also says that all HDMI ports from the C9 are compatible as well. So like maybe there isn't that much of a disparity. It seems like there's been a few sort of notable improvements in maybe like things like sound quality, which is not a gigantic deal breaker. So I mean, that sort of side by side research you can go do and you can figure it out and see what makes sense for you. I don't see any huge jumps in latency and stuff like that. So, they do seem similar for the most part.
So let me just kind of maybe sum up what I think M's question might ask is there something on the horizon that's not in the TV that is like should they hold off?
I mean, it's really just pushing the boundaries of like what these TVs are capable of ingesting, right? Like the amount of information. And right now, like commercially available sources material is not going much beyond 4K 60, 4K 120. So like that's feels like we're maybe going to be here for a little bit. I mean,
and
you can have like things are going to be able to improve in terms of like how well they handle certain sort of things and how well how solidly the latency performs and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, to be totally honest, I'm probably not the perfect person to ask. Right?
Well, I think it's right there. This is a tough question because
it's tough. Like what's coming next? Like I would like go hit up David Katzmeyer on Twitter and ask him. He's our TV guy.
Remember that big TV room? That was so fun.
Yeah, I missed that.
He's
pretty much like the best. What's up?
Well, there's like what was a micro LED, like the technology, and there's other techs that might be years away or coming out soon.
Yeah, like all I can speak to is like what I've had experience with, and I have now seen generational LG OLEDs, and the jump from 2018 to 2020 was big, right? Because you did have HDMI 2.1 come in, and you did have a lot of pushing of the needle sort of forward with that. But I don't know, but I would reach out to that guy.
Yeah.
He'll answer you on Twitter. His name's
Um,
David Katzmeyer.
All right. Or
And,
if you find yourself emailing like some kind of tech pod, they might know if those are out there, any kind of tech pods in the world.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I know Dave would probably those sort of side-by-side specs aside, he would probably, his advice is almost always look for the best deal for last year's TV.
Okay.
Is like his sort of thing. But again, in terms of what's coming, what's on the horizon,
I feel like there's always going to be something that'll be better than yours, but that doesn't mean that you have a bad TV. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could like intelligently, predict stuff, right? Like, well, what do we have now and what do we need? And right now, like, we have what we need, right? So I don't know.
Well, you know what I know? I know it's the end of the show. And that means it is time to go for now, to say goodbye. Abby,
I feel like you're about to start like rhyming.
It's time for me to sing. Time for me to burst into song. Abby, we'll have you on for next week. And then next week we'll be on our short week, but we're going to have a podcast.
And it won't be live next week, right?
Well, yeah, we're going to try and record earlier in the week, and then we'll probably put it up on Thursday. So it won't be a live show. But we will try and have our show, and then on Wednesday we're going to try and do a stream with you to give you big virtual hugs and say goodbye and wish you good luck.
If you're invited to my stream, if you're invited, maybe I'll do a solo stream. I don't know.
Man,
no, you guys are invited.
Man, no,
can I come to your solo?
Yeah,
stream?
Jeff, you're invited. I do kind of want to play Call of Duty with Jeff, but I also kind of want to play a game that everyone can play, like a Jeff.
We can watch you play Call of Duty. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
like me and Jeff playing Call of Duty, and then everybody else at Giant Bomb sitting there watching.
We'll just be in the audience, being like, "Wow, this is real good." All right, let me hit the music here. Alex Navarro, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Abby Russell, thank you very much as always.
Thank you, Vinny.
Jeff Baclar, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Everybody out there, if it's a birthday, happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, Vinny.
Alex Navarro, happy birthday to you. Yours was when?
Wait, is today your birthday?
Wednesday, right?
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, happy birthday.
We slacked. Why didn't you tell me?
I know. I actually did slack. Happy birthday, Alex.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy it.
39.
29 doesn't last forever. Happy birthday.
You don't look a day over 38.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Go out there if you want to get yourself a tracksuit, 20% off. The Giant Bomb store has what you're looking for. Get it this holiday season. You'll want it. Enjoy your Thanksgiving safely. Please. Thank you very much.
Maybe don't travel if you don't have to.
I want my kids to go back to school sometime, so please. Thank you. And thanks for listening to the Beastcast, everybody. We will be back next week. Don't forget to tune in to the rest of the Giant Bomb stuff. Be safe. Be kind. See you next week.
Bye.
Be kind. Be safe. See you next week.